back here at Eagle Field. Travis, I didn't think I'd make it for the start of this one. The guys' game just getting over, a 1-point game over there, but we're back here on Eagle Field now with what's going to be a big-time soccer game against a team that we've played a ton in the last couple of years. Talk to me about tonight's soccer match.
This game is something that we look forward to every year. We love it in the regular season, but in postseason, especially as being a player, this is one of the games you love to come out and win for sure, to get a great start in the regional and also just build the morale as the team winning against Trinity.
Eagles won 2-1 against them earlier on in the season, but the Eagles really dominated that game. I believe they took 30-plus shots, but just weren't able to find those goals. If you're the Eagles, you've started to score a little bit more recently. How do you find ways to put the ball in the back of the net tonight?
Guys just need to find themselves in the right spot. We get some good shots, but sometimes it's just not from the right spot. We get those guys in the right spot, we're going to score.
I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today. It's going to be a great one. Your Eagles versus the Trinity Baptist Eagles in the first round of the NCCAA South Region Tournament. We're going to throw it down to the field. Starting lineups, prayer, national anthem coming up next, and we'll be back at kickoff.
Starting tonight for Trinity Baptist College, number 2, Nick Lockridge. Number 3, Paris Reagan. Number 6, Declan Owen. Number 8, Xavier Diaz. Number 10, Nathan Williams. Number 11, Nasir Guanapa. Number 14, Pablo Garcia. Number 20, Evan Hosbrook. Number 22, Eddie Young. Number 23, Richard Vasquez. Number 33, Trey Nieves. Trinity is led by Coach Dan Robertson. And now the starting lineup for Pensacola Christian College Eagles. Number 2, Zachary Kluver. Number 4, Clint Peterson. Number 7, Daniel Vidal. Number 8, Rafael Sanzio. Number 10, Lucas Sampaio. Number 16, Anthony Ruiz. Number 19, Salvador Palcar. Number 21, Riley Rhodes. Number 23, Cole Williams. Number 28, David Cuevas. Number 33, Daniel De Souza. The Eagles are led by Coach Joe Lewas with assistant coach Mateus Canada and Ryan Kennard. Officiating for tonight's game are Ryan Campbell, John Sowers, and Jason Keel. Please stand for prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this day, and we pray for the safety of the players. May everything be done to bring you glory. In Christ Jesus' name, amen. Please remain standing for the national anthem. National Christian College Athletic Association is committed to the true spirit of competition and upholding the 4 core values of the game plan for life: love, integrity, faith, and excellence. We ask that each participant, official, and spectator join us in exhibiting these Christ-like characteristics and help create a positive environment in which to enjoy today's competition.
And we're back here on Eagle Field getting ready for kickoff here in the first round, the semifinal really, of the NCCAA South Region Tournament. You've got the 2-seeded Eagles versus the 3-seeded Eagles of Trinity. Eagles hoping to come away victorious and set up a potential showdown tomorrow against Bob Jones University or Toccoa Falls College. We'll take this opportunity before the kickoff to run down through the starters for both teams. For the Eagles, Daniel Cuevas continues to be in goal. The forward up top, Zachary Kluver. Back on defense, you've got number 4, Clint Peterson, Anthony Ruiz. Wearing number 16, Cole Williams wearing number 23. You've got Daniel Vidal in the midfield. You've got Rafael Sancio, another one of the defenders, in the back. Daniel D'Souza in the midfield, and Riley Rhodes up top. Salvador Paucar going to play more of that center defensive midfielder role. We'll go over Trinity Baptist after we kick this one off. Travis, you've played in games like this. The feeling of playing in an NCCAA South Region tournament, a lot of fun, but ultimately a bit nerve-wracking. The Eagles coming in expecting to win. They want to come in and assert their dominance in this game. One of the better teams in the country. If you're the Eagles, how do you make sure you come out strong?
An added bonus for them this year, something that I didn't get to experience as a player, is we're playing at home for this regional tournament, which is just great. I'm glad to see us hosting for sure, but for us to come out strong, we have to make sure we're not overlooking this game to look at Bob Jones as something that we want to get to if they beat Toccoa. We need to focus on this game, making sure we get the victory, and then preparing for them as it comes along.
Trinity Baptist going to have the opening kickoff. The Eagles from Jacksonville in the blue kits, blue tops, blue shorts, and white socks. The Eagles in their kind of midway kit. They're wearing white on top, their blues down low. Probably one of my favorite jersey combinations that the Eagles have. Eagles, a quick foul called there, and they go quick with it. Eagles working it around the back. Both teams feeling each other out in the early going.
You can see a lot of intensity from both teams as well. No team wants to give the ball up, and Trinity's playing hard defense right from the get-go.
Great pass there by Kluver. Sampaio has an opening. Sampaio into the 18, deflected, but the Eagles pick up a corner. A good start there for the Eagles.
Quick breakthrough you want to see right there. Trinity was playing really high. Their whole team was up above almost at the half-field mark, and Zach made a great pass to get advantage of that.
Kluver was looking for Sampaio. His shot on goal deflected out. D'Souza over to send in the corner kick. Cutters. Peterson tried to get ahead on it, but Nieves punches it. Sampaio tried to send it back in quickly.
That's a good sign right there. You saw good intensity off the bat. That ball was placed very dangerously, something you like to see from our set pieces.
A little breezy tonight. Oh, mistake. Vidal with it in the center. But Williams, Nathan Williams, the senior, able to clear it for Trinity Baptist.
Couple great plays right there. We're going to need to start keeping that pressure up and hopefully be able to capitalize soon here. If it can almost get demoralizing if you get so many great chances and you can't capitalize on any of them in the early goings.
Kluver feeds it. He was looking for Sampaio, who tried to hook up with Vidal. Through ball played. Guanipa trying to get onto it. Back to Cuevas.
You can see a little bit of the nerves from both sides, people playing a little jittery, some quick turnovers from both teams, and I think we'll see that kind of fade away as the game progresses here.
Kluver tried to get on the end of that one. I got a chance. I had a Zoom call. Man, I love technology, with head coach Dan Robertson for Trinity Baptist earlier in the week. And one of the things he said in practice they've really been trying to work on, they're a very counter-strike type offense. And early on in games, that counter-strike offense can pay dividends, major dividends, trying to find an early goal.
Yeah, if you can catch a team sleeping at the very beginning of a game, maybe not ready for game speed, it can be very devastating.
Kluver, the give and go to D'Souza. Nieves off his line. And D'Souza, the chip shot just misses. Daniel D'Souza was looking for his second big goal of the week. He had that game winner the other day against Grace Christian University, a team up from your neck of the woods, Michigan. Eagles, knocking off the number 1 ranked team in the country at that point with that golden goal in double overtime that D'Souza finished.
Yeah, that's our third or fourth great chance already so far, and we're not even 5 minutes into the game. And I'm thinking we're coming out really strong, and we just need to get a goal early on would be very helpful for the Eagles here.
Rhodes passed it to himself but couldn't keep it in bounds. He was looking for Williams, but Williams fell down.
Yeah, took a tumble there.
Nieves, though, had to turn away a tough one right there. The Eagles find themselves tied at 0. 41 minutes left in the first half of play. We're in the 4th minute if you're just joining us. An all-star team of sorts up here in the booth, and I'm not talking about myself. Former Eagles soccer athlete, two-time national champion Travis Rose up here with me for this one. He's played in 3 or 4 of these region tournaments. He's won 2 region tournaments. Definitely excited to have him up here in the booth this evening.
Yeah, we've played in those. We've done our dues, and I'm not going to lie, I feel just as excited about commentating this game as I did about playing all the other ones. I'm actually kind of jittery.
Is it pregame jitters or is it just the wind? That
Oh,
might
no.
be it.
Oh, no, it's the intensity of the moment. You get really excited. It all depends on how you channel it, whether you're going to fail or whether you're going to come out and do something great.
I got to admit, you mentioned a few moments ago the Eagles hosting this. I've had this date circled on my calendar for 5 years. I mean, we started the program back in 2016, and it just seems like it's taken forever for us to get to hosting. Finally do. Here's Rhodes on the wing. Cuts inside. Great pass to Sampaio, but cleared by the sophomore Lockridge. It's just neat to host this at home. You know, have the chance. We did it. We've done it a couple years ago in basketball to, you know, raise a banner at home potentially, and that's exactly what the Eagles are looking to do this weekend.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to get another banner up and do it all at home. It's very nice in front of our home crowd, even with everything that's going on. You saw a couple minutes ago another great opportunity in the box from the Eagles. We're just putting it, again, like we said, in dangerous places. We just don't have the right people there at the moment, but that's kind of how soccer is. But if we can get the right people in the box with those opportunities, I think we'll see some goals fall.
Yeah, and I think, you know, something to definitely mention there, Trinity Baptist coming to this tournament with only 13 players. So, yes, there's openings now, but you've got to imagine some of these players are going to get a little bit tired later on, and those openings that are already seeming large are going to get bigger, and that's when the Eagles are going to have a chance to put one in.
Yeah, speaking of amount of players as well, we didn't see players start tonight like Riley, and I was talking beforehand, he sprained his ankle at the Grace game, and so we might not see some of our normal players tonight, but Coach Joe is hoping just to give them the rest that they need to be able to go for Saturday if we can make it past the day.
Cross into the box. Rhodes looking dangerous.
That cross almost made it by itself.
Rhodes nearly got ahead on it, and he's, you know, the bell cow on offense for this Eagles team. He's got 11 goals this year, second in the NCCAA. Riley Rhodes has been incredible for this Eagles team after they lost a lot of offense. A guy who's going to be doing the 7 o'clock game with me, Jake McClellan, you know, the all-time leading scorer. He graduates last year, and you say, who's going to replace that? And if we had a little parlor, you know, game going earlier on, you would not have told me that it was going to be Riley Rhodes.
No, he's been the guy that's the outlier for what I'm talking about. He finds himself in the right place at the right time. That's where most of his goals have come from. And he's just worked really hard, and he's getting paid for it this semester.
Great ball there by Williams to switch the field. When you're playing against a team that's a little bit short-handed, sometimes flipping the field like that is going to prove extremely helpful later on, just forcing Trinity to run a little bit more.
Yeah, this game has been up and down the field so far for the first about 10 minutes, but if we start moving it side to side a little bit more, hold possession, the more Trinity runs without the ball, the better it is for us. So I think you'll see us maybe try to work some possession in here as well and get goals at the end of long possessions and really wear Trinity down.
Eagles working it around the back, really stretching the field. It seems like the middle of the field really opening up right now.
Dangerous turnover right there in our third.
Take him.
Rhodes and Williams not on the same page that time, and it leads to an odd man rush. Declan Owen for Trinity Baptist going the other way, looking to cross it in. Trinity Baptist looked dangerous there for a couple of moments as they got deep into the Eagles' attacking third. Oh, ball fed to the center. The chip by Reagan misses.
Both teams with dangerous chances right there. Those were just a couple of 50-50 balls we didn't win in our third, and those are the ones you fight for the hardest. But both teams getting their opportunities. I think we'll see a very nice, chippy, tight game for 90 minutes.
Kluver trying to run on the end of that one and able to deflect it off the foot of Lockridge and out. You saw Paris Reagan a moment ago down on the other side. He's got 6 goals for Trinity this year.
Hey, we've got to do a little bit better job holding the ball.
Kluver centering one, dangerous, but Nieves there to cover. Sancio rips one. Rafael Sancio, he had that hat trick the other day against Johnson University of Florida, the game you did with me. Scored 3 in that game, took 10 shots, 7 of them on goal. And it was shots that I haven't seen him take before. He seemed to have a little bit of anger behind those shots, some really hard shots, and another one right there.
Yeah, I like that shot right there. With a lot of bodies in front of the goal, it was a really good opportunity to maybe catch the goalie blind to where the ball was at. And also coming right off of Zach's shot, you don't know if the goalie's recovered it or not.
Rhodes trying to get there. He does. Can he finish it? Riley Rhodes off the side netting. If he had been able to take that shot maybe a step earlier, it would have been in that left 90 instead of off the right side netting.
With everyone running towards the ball as well, if he could have maybe even pulled it back for a second, maybe given it a stop, hit the brakes, and try to put it back far netting, that might have been it. But I really like the opportunities we're getting right now. They don't seem forced either. It seems very fluid in the game. We're getting great opportunities, and hopefully we'll be able to finish a few here soon.
If you're just joining us for this game, we're 10 minutes into the first semifinal here in the NCCAA South Region. Eagles trying to win their third banner in the last couple of years. I mentioned joined by Travis Rose. I'm Noah Frary, and if you're tuning in, we'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. Jump on the live stream, jump on YouTube in the comments, and comment where you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to get involved in the conversation even tonight, feel free to tweet at me, Calls by Noah. I'd love to have a conversation and get some of your thoughts into the broadcast. Travis, there was that one opportunity a few moments ago where Trinity Baptist looked dangerous, but for the most part, the Eagles have done a good job at maintaining possession and creating dangerous opportunities.
Yeah, I think it's something that we've talked about in other games, and you notice when it's not there, and you don't appreciate it when it's there, but that's their passing right now. It seems very crisp. It's on the ground. It's easy to send and receive.
Reagan off the post. The crossbar nonetheless, but Cueva is able to get the follow-up, and just like that, I say that Trinity hasn't created a lot of dangerous opportunities. That one probably the most dangerous of all this evening for both teams.
Yeah, both teams have had very dangerous chances that you would think would go in, and neither team's got a goal yet.
The sophomore Lockridge, a smart play there to head it back to Nieves. I mentioned Reagan tied for the team lead in goals. He's tied, check that, tied for second. Nasir Guanipa has 7 goals for this Trinity Baptist squad. I was thinking about Bob Jones. They've got 2 players tied at 6. I've been doing a lot of prepping for these games in the men's basketball, women's basketball, so all these stats are starting to run together a little bit. Eli Solomon and Victor Oladipo, you'll see them in the late game for Bob Jones. 2 talented strikers for head coach Matt Hotchkin. Evan Hasbrook to play it into the box. Lockridge got on the end of it. Ruiz on the goal line. Made his last stand right there.
What have we seen? About 10 from both sides combined, 10 plays that look like they should have been goals by now, and we're only 15 minutes into this game.
It's the exact same thing, though, that you saw earlier this year. It's some, great opportunities to create goals. Kluver offsides. Williams was tussling with Kluver, but the center official finally spotting the offsides marker over here on the near sideline.
Yeah, this is one of the games that you almost feel like is at one of those points where neither team is really going to be changed if they get scored on. I think if one team finally gets a breakthrough or the other, you're going to see intensity still from both sides. No team's really going to fold. And
I've been getting texts all night from people watching both at the basketball game and now for the soccer game. A good friend of mine, Ray Barreau, the sports information director over at Trinity Baptist, he's tuned in for this one. Ray, the voice of the Trinity Baptist Eagles. I'm the voice of the PCC Eagles. Always good to connect. So far, 0-0 as we tick into the 15th minute of this contest. That free kick kept on the ground and played hard through to Pablo Garcia. Travis, I think you made a good point a couple moments ago. I think both teams, from the opportunities that they've created, have clearly come ready to play. And I think most teams tend to show up at a region tournament.
yeah, and I think from what we've seen so far for some of the fouls that have been called, I think that it'll be a very well-played game. I don't think the ref's going to allow a lot of rough soccer to go around for tonight. I think it'll be a very clean game, and it'll be whoever does their best job to move the ball around and get in the back of the net.
D'Souza making moves. Ruiz crossed into the box. Sampaio on the end of it. Sends a zinger, but that one missed by about 20 feet to the right.
I like those, though. I like those opportunities. We get a nice cross in, and we take the deflection, see what happens.
Eagles coming into this tournament as the number 2 seed. Really the difference maker in a 2 seed versus a 1 seed is that game that we played back in October where Bob Jones squeaked out a victory in the 108th minute. We'll see if both of those teams get a rematch on Saturday in the South Region Tournament, or if a team like Toccoa Falls or Trinity Baptist is able to pull off an upset. Vidal open on the far side of the field.
Good, Pablo. Relax,
Also seeing pretty good movement, pretty smooth work together with some of the teams, with some of the 1-2s and different things we've seen. They just need to stay with some of that stuff. It's given us great opportunities, and hopefully we can get a couple more of those great opportunities to put some in. But you've seen Riley and Zach and these guys up top working great so far already, great together. Hopefully they can keep that up and really start working it, especially later on in the game. As you mentioned, Trinity not having as many players. Those opportunities could become even better and better as Trinity might get tired or maybe a little slower.
Go, Pablo, make the run, Pablo.
17 minutes into this match in the first round of the NCCAA South Region Championship. Both teams have traded some body shots early on. Trinity Baptist coming perhaps the closest, a strike by Paris Reagan about 5 minutes ago off the crossbar.
I like what we saw right there with Lucas taking possession, working it up the field, and bringing it back to give us a great opportunity like this with Cole.
Williams playing it into the box. Nieves nearly lost it in Riley Rhodes. I've comped him to a player that you played with, Mark Brown. I've said it to him blue in the face, but what Riley did right there is put himself in a position for maybe a trash goal, a little bit of deflection off the goalkeeper, and you get one.
Yeah, it forces the other team to play at a level that they might not be comfortable with. They have to make a great save, or that goalie has to possess the ball, or Riley might be in the right spot.
Foul called. Travis, I think you made a great point a couple minutes ago. The officials have done a good job early on, and maybe they know a little bit of some of the history of these two teams. You've had some very chippy games. They very hotly contested matchups between these two teams, and maybe some of these officials are a little bit more aware of that. And right now they're calling a very tight game, but also letting a little bit go, and that's what you want to see out of an official. Ball played centered. Rhodes. That one just squeaking by the left post.
I like seeing the change of attack as well. If you watch the first 5 to 8 minutes, we're really working it up the middle, really great slicing passes up the middle. And now we're working it down the sidelines, both sides. We just saw Cole and then Vidal over there. We're working it down the sides with some good crosses. And so keeping Trinity on their toes on to how we're going to attack to see if we can get the ball in the back of the net.
I feel like Riley Rhodes has to be thinking that he should have a couple by now. He's been putting himself in the right position at just the right times, but so far not able to finish.
Yeah, if this game stays scoreless for a little while longer, both teams are going to start kicking themselves, wanting to get back some of the chances they've had already.
Man, what has gotten into Rafael Sancio? He used to not try to do this. He has 3 goals against Johnson the other day, and now he wants to get involved in the offense all the time.
Like you said, I think he's just angry. He's just angry. Wants to kick the ball as hard as he can, get some goals. I like Hafi. He works hard as well. He's a great player. He's always fun to have on the team. He's also one of those players you don't want to play against. He plays very physically, very hard, but knows the game of soccer very well. And
he plays international soccer.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows how to, bother you a little bit. He knows how to get in your way, maybe do a little bit of stalling tactics, a good hard foul every once in a while. He's a good player.
And then he'll yell at you in Portuguese and just confuse you. And so he knows what he's doing.
I've been trying to get a couple of these Brazilian guys on the team to teach me Portuguese words, and I've learned one, which is boa, which I guess means good.
Yep.
So I'm waiting for Rafa to score another goal because I'm going to use it. That's about all I've learned, though. Ooh, Sancio thought about going center to D'Souza, but kept it.
Yeah, in the first 20 minutes, something we've also seen come and go so far for the Eagles has been their communication. They've done a really good job with passes and things, letting them know where they are and where the defense is. But there's just sometimes on 50-50 balls or those punts and things where they're just not really communicating who's going for it. And might need to clear that up, or it could end in an opportunity for Trinity to score.
Going to get a stoppage as the center official cautioning Kluver and Williams. Williams, the captain for Trinity Baptist, and Zach Kluver, the transfer. Another sign of the officials trying to make sure things continue to stay orderly. Williams going to kick it in from just on the Eagles' side of the field. Eagles going to have a throw in now on the far side. It looks like Sampaio going to throw it in. Actually going to be Sancio. Travis, you mentioned some of the talking that you're seeing, maybe some of the intensity. I had a chance to go to practice a couple times this week for this Eagles soccer team, and that was a major talking point for head coach Joe Lee. You felt a big shift on Monday at practice after ending the regular season and knowing that every game that you play now, it's win or go home for the most part. And you saw this big shift and kind of a change in intensity from this Eagles soccer team that's been here and done it. Guys like Riley Bahalski, guys like Hayden Hoffman, who's won 2 national championships, looking to maybe make it 3. And you've really seen those guys, their leadership step up as these guys now are in postseason mode.
Yeah, when I was on the team and we'd play, it didn't take much, and in the postseason, it would just change for all of us immediately. And so it would take a really disciplined team to come out and be able to match the level that we were at least discipline and intensity-wise. And, I mean, it's something Coach Joe's kind of instilled in everybody. He does a really great job with that and showing you the gravity and importance of each game at that point.
You know, and someone that maybe you're even accustomed to. I know he's here watching tonight, but head coach Joe Lewa's bringing in a legend Tuesday night at practice, Coach Miguel DeLima. And he gave up, you know, he hasn't been able to be around the team as much this year due to being, you know, a little bit older and the ongoing pandemic, all of those types of things. But he gave a pretty rousing speech for an 83-year-old and really, you know, lit into a couple guys. He really lit into David Cuevas. He said, you know, continue to talk. I mean, Coach DeLima, a goalkeeper for the Eagles, or not for the Eagles, you know, playing professionally back in the day down in Brazil. He played with Pele. But really lighting into Cuevas and saying, hey, continue to work on your communication with your back line so that back line that's been good could get to great.
Yeah, Coach DeLima, he was really instrumental when the team started. Those first 2 years, I really remember him around a lot. And he was always there helping us out and helping out Coach and giving us good tips and everything. And, again, with the ability to speak Portuguese for our foreign students, it was very helpful.
He tells me this story. I'm good friends with him. I've kind of, you know, obviously I like to go to practice from time to time, and most of the time he's on the sideline. And, you know, I could sit there and listen to him talk for hours. But he always tells this story about how he's been praying for this Eagles soccer team for 20 years to come. He's been talking, you know, he's been that bug in the ear to the founder, Dr. Arlen Horton. And, you know, he still gets tears in his eyes to this day when he talks about this program actually getting started back in 2016. And, you know, it's neat now that program starting in 16, coming full circle all the way to now, 2 national championships and finally hosting our first regional tournament. Pretty neat.
Yeah, he made soccer his life, and when it came here in a place that he loved and that he was so invested in, it meant the world to him. And it really showed when this team got started. He didn't just, oh, here's the team, now I'm going to take my hands off. He was very hands-on and involved in helping us in any way he could, especially with our goalkeepers, especially with him playing goalie professionally. You've seen some great goalies come through the years, and he's been instrumental in that.
A stoppage and a yellow card on Nathan Williams. His first of the game.
Very dangerous tackle there, and Williams has been on the team when I've played, and he's very physical, and sometimes it's too obvious. It's to a point where you know he's not even trying to get to the ball, and so that tackle wasn't really that bad, but he's already put himself in a bad spot this game, and 25 minutes in, that's not where you want to be.
Well, and you gotta look at, too, the talking to a couple moments ago where the official stops and talked to him and Kluver. And so some of that's a build-up, but also I would agree with you, kind of a flagrant tackle there. And so it's an easy call by the official, who, again, has done a good job at kind of keeping things controlled in this game. And you have to like that if you're a fan watching or if you're the players or the coaches.
Yeah, in this game, both teams are very high energy, high emotions.
Peterson tried to center that one.
But both teams are very high energy and high emotion. And with the history here as well, the ref knows that this could get out of hand very quickly if things are allowed to let go.
D'Souza tried to get it to the center, but that one sailing harmlessly, deflected out, and a corner kick for the Eagles. On the right side of the field, you tend to see D'Souza take those corner kicks. On the left side of the field, you're going to see a guy like Sampaio take them, normally Bahalski, but with him not playing in this game so far, Sampaio taking them. A long bender. D'Souza to his good foot. They were looking for Kluver. But a foul called. "25 minutes down in this contest so far. The score continues to be 0-0. It's calmed down a bit over the last couple of minutes, but early on in this contest, a lot of offensive opportunities for both teams, and just no one has been able to put one in the net so far. Again, if you're just joining us, you're watching the first semifinal in the NCCAA South Region Tournament. The Eagles, the 2 seed, taking on the 3 seed Trinity Baptist Eagles. The Eagles played around with it a bit in the back.
Yeah, very dangerous right there. Someone should have just cleared it out at some point. It was very dangerous, but nice to see that we got out of it without any harm.
D'Souza ahead to Sampaio. Kluver, great pass to Vidal to free him up in space. Vidal on the ball. Pass to the center, D'Souza. Kluver was trying to get inside. Paukar now switching fields, forcing Peterson to move and come into the front field.
Very well done right there. Switch the point of attack to still get it in the corner on that left side, and we're going to get a great chance right here.
Sampaio, a big strike deflected out in another corner. The Eagles continuing to knock on the door, looking for their first goal of the contest.
Yeah, that was well done, working it around the field to still go back to that left corner there, and great cross there, and another great long shot there, and hopefully we'll be able to get a goal here pretty soon, but we don't know how things are looking. Everything just seems to be a stone wall at the moment for both sides.
You know, I mentioned I've been getting texts throughout these contests. I just got a text from one of the greats, another player that you played with, a guy who played center back alongside you, Nick Standridge. He was wanting, and, you know, I'll let you fill him in a little bit because, you know, for maybe the viewers just joining in, guys like Riley Bahalski, Hayden Hoffman, not in the starting lineup like you're used to expecting them, I believe, dealing with a little bit of an injury, Travis.
Yeah, Hayden has got a little bit of a foot injury on the top of his foot, a bone bruise or something. That's what I was told. And Riley as well sprained his ankle in that last game against Grace. And so coaches told me that they both are eligible to play. It's not like it's where they can't get out on the field, but he's trying to reserve them as much as possible to hopefully not tweak anything or something to be really ready to go for our next game if we can get a victory here tonight.
So according to coach and the players, is their prognosis if they can get to Saturday, is it pretty good for those guys to play potentially?
Yeah, if it can get to Saturday, they can play hard, and even if they do end up tweaking something or something that's bothering them, they know they can play really hard, and they're going to get a long rest coming into the next tournament.
Peterson in space making moves. Chip ahead to Kluver. Kluver on the ball. He tried to get around Williams. Those two been battling the entire game, but so far Kluver not able to get the better of him. You know, I had a funny moment. I mentioned, you know, going to practice a couple times this week. I had a funny moment with Kluver. You know, early on this season, he's a Division I transfer from Cleveland State, and he would tell you, and I don't think he'd mind me saying this, that he hasn't played his best this year. And so even, you know, some of the guys josh with him a little bit and say, you know, when's D1 going to show up? And one of the things that you saw this past weekend against Johnson and Grace, Zach Kluver, D1, showing up and having a 3-goal weekend, named Player of the Week, Student Athlete of the Week by the NCCAA. And if a guy like Zach Kluver at the top, alongside Bahalski, alongside Vidal, if those guys can get going, this Eagles team could get really dangerous here in the postseason.
Yeah, it could not have shown up at a better time for him as well. He's been looking for it all season, so to find it at least at some point has been great for him.
Cuevas continues to play with it in the back. Cuevas and Nieves, the two keepers. Cuevas in the Sharpie-colored number 28 jersey, and Nieves in the lime green number 33 jersey.
We've still done a great job tonight of changing our point of attack. We go up the sides, we go up the middle. We're really keeping Trinity guessing.
Throw in on the far sideline. Kluver going to take it. He's got the arm to throw it pretty deep into the box. See if maybe a guy like Riley Rhodes, if he does go deep, can get on the end of it. Chooses to send it to D'Souza instead. D'Souza splits a man, and he goes down. Eagles going to have a free kick in dangerous territory. The foul that time on number 8, Zavin Diaz.
Yeah, this is basically just a nice corner kick here, opportunity, and I like to see something low and strong put into the box here to give us a chance maybe for some deflections for it to bounce around, or give us a good chance for a goal.
Sampaio and D'Souza both standing over it. If Sampaio hits it, it's going to be a right-handed kind of in-swinger. If D'Souza hits it, he may try to go right on net.
Yeah, I think this might be something that D'Souza might want to take a crack at.
Look for maybe Kluver or Rhodes on that back post if D'Souza hits it. D'Souza does. Gives it to Peterson. He's going to send one. Ooh! Clint Peterson nets a goal. D'Souza hands it off to Peterson, and Clint Peterson knew just what to do with it. Eagles lead 1-0.
Man, that was a great shot. I really like the play here on the replay. You'll see from this angle, it's perfect that the goalie really had no angle to see where the ball was. There's too many people in front of him. He could respond to it too late. Clint put that side netting. Great goal for the Eagles.
A great job there, though. You see when Peterson kind of accepted that, he played it out in front of him to give himself some momentum and then just took a mighty heave on it. He's been kind of talking to coach about wanting to play a little bit more offense. He's been in the back. He was a midfielder in high school. He's played, center back the last 2 years, a very good center back at that. But maybe that puts a thought in coach's mind to, let Clint get up a little bit more on offense.
Yeah, coaches, we normally really put a strong player in the backfield, whether they're good at offense or defense. We've seen that with Adrian. We've seen that with Nick. We've seen that with Clint. Coach's strategy is to put them in the back and put me next to him, and then we're just going to play defense.
So really, you were the reason.
I was the reason.
Defense.
We all called them the star, but I was the reason. No, we put our best players back there, really Adrian and Nick and those guys, and just a strong player that knows the game of soccer well. And coaches always survived off of being able to stop the other team and then letting our offense, like Jake and those guys, work well together and not trying to overload one side of the field with all of our great players.
I would say the strategy has worked out basically to perfection for the Eagles over the last couple of years, 2 national championships, and 2 of those 3 guys in the back, and who knows, Clint Peterson may do it in coming years, national players of the year with Adrian Torres, Nick Standridge, so some really talented guys in the back.
Yeah, we've put those guys in the backfield, and another great part is they've been able to, willing to put themselves in a position where they say, hey, this is where I need to play. I know it's not as glamorous, and I know that it's not where I'm going to be recognized the most for goals or anything, but they've put themselves back there, and they've played strong, and it's still been recognized by the team and by the NCCAA. And we see Clint keeping that tradition going of having a strong center back and just working hard and still getting goals when he can.
Eagles fortunate to get the goal. It was a quick free kick from D'Souza to Peterson, and he hammered it home. Eagles lead this one 1-0. We're in the 33rd minute here in the first round of the NCCAA South Region Tournament. Reagan had a chance to score one earlier, but he went off the crossbar.
Great play right there. Good give and go.
Rhodes into the box. Got by Nieves. Nathan Williams put a lick in on
You see
Rhodes.
right there, the keeper doesn't do anything. Williams really should have another yellow card out of this game right now with that. He genuinely just tackled Riley for after the ball was shot and everything. I mean, it was very blatant and obvious that it was nothing but an intent to take Riley out. But it's really hard to make those calls right there with those quick plays, especially with the keeper on the ground and everything. But really great play right there to get the turnover on the backfield. D'Souza to Zach to Riley took 5 seconds and we're on the other end of the field.
D'Souza checking out now. He had the assist on the Peterson goal. Kedley Augustin coming in. Williams, good throw to the center. Kluver got his head on it initially and now keeps it. Eagles looking for another one. Paukar is again, the Eagles change that point of attack.
I like it right there. We're not pressuring. We're not trying to just force it down their throats. We got it back. We're taking it in.
Oh, Riley Rhodes, the doubleheader team up right there. And Nieves, what a save from the keeper, the junior keeper, Trey Nieves.
Yeah, that was a great play right there. We swung it around. Lucas kept possession instead of forcing it into the box. And Zach with that great cross from his head straight to Riley. I mean, what a save, to be honest.
Trey Nieves on the season. He's given up just over 5.5 goals a game, but I don't really think it's indicative of his play. He's had to play against some very tough teams and a short-handed Trinity team, maybe some guys getting tired late, but Trey Nieves, you got to witness it, in early October against the Eagles. Did a great job in that game of saving a lot of shots, hard shots at that.
Yeah, we always have a rough time getting around Trinity's keeper, and he tends to do a good job. And then with that 5.5 goals per game, I mean, those numbers can get skewed, especially where we're from pretty easily. If you want to play any IA schools or anything, they're very good in our area. And our teams in our region love to play better competition to get better for these tournaments. So I wouldn't put that 5.5 goals a game against him in any way. It's just us, maybe some of the competition they've been playing.
The South region definitely blessed with some great goalkeeping. I think of Adam Lund, David Cuevas now. I think of Trey Nieves. We'll see another great one, Chris Monchieski, later on this evening for Bob Jones University. And, you know, honestly, you know, we discounted a little bit because of the scoreline against Johnson a couple weeks ago. But Peter Fleming for Johnson University, the guy had 42 saves, and not all of them were easy saves. So even another good goalkeeper there.
Yeah, he is put in a very tough spot with that team there. But our goalkeepers in our region are very solid. It forces our forwards to play hard and to put actually good shots on goal, not anything that's just put in between that rectangle is going to go in.
You know, and I think, Travis, that point is even further validated. I tweeted out earlier this week that 4 out of the last 5 national champions have come out of the South region. You had Bob Jones. You had Trinity in, I believe, 2016. Bob Jones in, Trinity Baptist in 15. Bob Jones in 16. Eagles in 17 and 19. And ultimately, none of those teams have gone as the number 1 seed.
Yeah, and the team that won in the middle there, North Central, beat us in the Nationals to go to their championship game. And they were very solid as well, had really great midfielders and a good keeper as well. So you just see that it's kind of something that a team needs in the back to have a chance to really make it far in a tournament.
Second yellow of the game shown by the center official. This one on Pablo Garcia, the other one on Nathan Williams.
Something you can already see kind of developing is Trinity is focusing on physicality and playing more of the man, and we're really just out here looking like we're playing good soccer and focusing on getting the ball in the back of the net, and we're not letting them bully us either. We're doing a great job.
The center official hadn't given the signal yet, so we'll do it again. The whistle blows, and Ruiz plays a long free ball into the center. Sancio, another one of them angry shots.
I knew he was going to take that. He's been waiting for those all game. He just looks for that opportunity.
Sancio now over here on this side of the field. And probably one of my favorite players, David Stiefel, the Energizer Bunny.
The firecracker.
Of this Eagles team. I got a chance. I took David and Clint Peterson and their girlfriends the other day over to the fair, and it was a lot of fun to spend time with them. But even to get to know David Stiefel a little bit more, I see him out on the soccer field, and you come to realize that the intensity he brings on the soccer field, he also brings in his personal life a little bit.
Yeah, it's not separate. He is a very intense, energized, and emotional guy for sure. But yeah, he's going to play for 8 minutes right here, and he's going to come off the field sweating bullets and have worked hard and probably maybe even gotten a yellow card if he's not careful.
Ruiz was looking for Ramont Rhodes over on the far side of the field. It looks like I know Williams went down a few moments ago. It looks like Williams may have came out. Ramont Rhodes now on the far side, and that's why Sancio over on this side of the field. So far, these teams have really kept it pretty close. I think Trinity Baptist had a lot of opportunities early, but the Eagles' defense has now started to take over. But don't count Trinity Baptist out with guys like Nasir Guanipa, Declan Owen, Paris Reagan, some guys that may look to try to get on the score line in this game and not this one back up late.
Yeah, and we didn't hold them scoreless when we played them before, so we know that they have the opportunity and they have the players to score. So we need to stay focused for the whole 90 and just hopefully get a clean sheet after this one.
Despite some of the shots early on, a guy like Declan Owen really hasn't been able to get into the offense so far. He averages 2 shots on goal per game. I don't think he's had one yet. Really the only dangerous shot was that goal attempt by Paris Reagan that went off the crossbar and very nearly went in.
And then that save, who made that diving save? Anthony earlier in the game. They've had a couple really good chances. And
I forgot about that one. Yeah, that one that kind of beat Cuevas, and then Ruiz kind of had to, show his version of the Alamo maybe back there. Big moments in this game already.
Yeah, if you missed the first 5 minutes, you missed a lot of this half for sure.
Diaz stripping Paucar in the center of the field and still with the soccer ball. Deflected out off of Diaz, though, and it's going to be a harmless goal kick. And that'll bring in Samuel Berrigan. He grew up over in Milton, Florida. Now checking in for the Eagles in a regional tournament. He played on this field in the ECI tournament His team, Santa Rosa Christian, winning a championship a couple years ago. He was named MVP of that tournament. And he's another one of those guys, Travis, off the bench for this Eagles team. Not flashy, very technically sound, and players that in these last, 5 to 6 minutes as a head coach you just love, because you can put them in and give your starters a little bit of a breather and know that you're still going to get a very technically sound player on the field.
Yeah, and I think it's great to have guys like that on the field right now, and they can see that they can play at this level. They can have a good game in the regional, and hopefully it'll bring them back next year even more energized after their first taste of these type of games and just ready to go.
Trinity Baptist perhaps leaking some defenders up a little bit late, trying to find a goal. Richard Vasquez, number 23, over here on the near side of the field, getting pretty high up the field. He's made 4 starts for this Trinity Baptist team this year. Played in 7 games. Berrigan with a man on his back, tried to find back to Kluver. Good slide tackle.
Yeah, with the firecracker coming in, you're seeing Zach move back into the midfield for some more possession maybe. And him and Clint seem to work very well together back here as well. They're a very hard group of guys to get past. You've seen Trinity struggle a little bit on the offensive end here.
Peterson was looking for Sancio, but Nick Lockridge sniffed it out. Turnover here in the center of the field. Stiefel finds a wide open Augustin. He sends one on frame. Nieves, though, a great save and a dangerous play there. The firecracker, David Stiefel, tried for the bicycle kick.
Very great play right there to find Cat on the other side of the 18 box open, and another great save there. You see, I think that shot was on frame and even kept it in the box, and we just couldn't get another opportunity.
If you're Trinity Baptist, you have to be pleased with the play that you've gotten out of goalkeeper Trey Nieves in this one. He's played well, and that's a big reason why it's still only 1-0, despite some really good Eagles opportunities. Augustin taken down, and I don't know how that foul doesn't get called on that play. Reagan chips it ahead. Peterson having to battle. Reagan off the crossbar yet again. The game of soccer, a very cruel sport.
That's 2 in one half. He's not going to get many more opportunities like that, and he will be having nightmares about those opportunities if this game ends in the kind of scoreline that it is on right now.
Reagan has had 2 shots off the crossbar, basically same spot. That one maybe a little bit higher off the crossbar. But I say that kind of half-jokingly. There's only about 3 inches there.
Cueva is not even in the goal either. It was an open net. You just don't get opportunities like that all the time.
If you're head coach Dan Robertson, you have to be pleased with opportunities like that and feel like a guy like Reagan, who's obviously proven that he can score goals for this team, could maybe find one in the second half to equalize this scoreline.
Yeah, these last 2 minutes, we're going to need to lock down here. It'd be making sure that we don't get scored on coming into the end of the half here. Coming out of this first half with a lead would be huge for the PCC Eagles.
Eagles turn it over deep in their attacking third. A good turn, and now a good ball into the box by Williams. You mentioned the senior a few moments ago, Travis, a very strong player in the back for Trinity Baptist, a guy who it seems like's been there for ages, playing center back this year alongside Nick Lockridge. That one rolling out of bounds. Diaz quickly gets it in. 35 seconds to go. Centering pass. Reagan trying to create another opportunity. Cuezo, as they call him. David Cuevas making a save there, and it leads to a corner kick. 20 seconds to go. Reagan to do the honors. Left-footed cross into the center, punched by David Cuevas. Rhodes, and that was nearly a dangerous foul. And that one gonna sail out, and that's how it'll end here in half number one. Eagles lead this one 1-0, Travis. And what a game so far. Both of these teams doing a good job, kind of a back and forth match in this one. A lot of shots early on, but so far the Eagles finding the goal, and Trinity Baptist ultimately trailing in this one 1-0 as we head into the half.
Yeah, PCCR Eagles have to feel very lucky about coming out of that half without a goal there. That last 5 minutes was dominated by Trinity, and the fact that they didn't finish is going to be hopefully a big momentum shift for us going into the second half.
Travis, Paris Reagan has been good for Trinity Baptist so far in this one. We've seen 2 off the crossbar. If you're head coach Dan Robertson, you have to like what you're seeing out of him. But if you're Trinity Baptist, how do you maybe get him some more opportunities, get the ball into the net?
I mean, they've had some great opportunities so far, and the problem is for Trinity, most of them have just come from our errors. And so if we can clear those up, and then that's going to force Trinity to play a little bit better if they want those opportunities again. Both
teams starting to exit the field as we get ready for halftime. I'll ask you one more question. We look at the Eagles. They've been able to score a goal in this game. They lead 1-0 at half. You've got to love that position. But if you're head coach Joe Lewas, you're hungry for more, wanting maybe a couple more goals because you've had some opportunities to convert but just haven't.
Yeah, it's been a close game so far, 1-0. You're not comfortable with right now. You're going to want another goal. You're going to want a chance to put some more in and hopefully get a cushion coming into the end of the game.
Eagles lead this one. The 2-seeded Pensacola Christian College Eagles lead this one 1-0. We're at halftime. We'll be back to break down what you just saw in the second half with about 2 minutes to go. And then second half action coming at you live from Pensacola, Florida.
You only have one life. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to influence your world for Christ? This is a place where you can be empowered to fulfill God's calling and pursue your passion.
Working as a physical therapist, it is a ministry all its own to just build a relationship with the people. I mean, that's my ultimate goal, is I want to help people get better.
I want to go to law school, get into a cybersecurity program. That way I can incorporate both programming and law, protecting companies from cybercrime.
I love being around people, and I love learning about people. I knew that with nursing, it wasn't just about helping people physically, like it was helping them spiritually too. That's what's important in life.
As I began to pray more, God, I have a huge decision to make. Where am I going to go to school? I only have one life. What do you want me to do with it? And he began to show me that what I enjoy doing can be used for his honor and for his glory. God led me to Pensacola Christian College to pursue my passion for finance through a biblical perspective.
I had told my pastor before coming here, I was like, I don't really like school, but I know I need to go for nursing. So I'm gonna go and I'll have to study really hard, and I just didn't really look forward to it. But now, like on my 3rd year, learning is so much fun. And I didn't feel like that freshman year.
I'll look back and I'll be like, man, I remember I used to struggle with that. And then maybe a freshman looks at what I'm doing and they're like, what are you even looking at? I'm like, this is easy stuff.
Incrementally, we're ready to do more, we're ready to face more, and to say, this may not be the easiest thing I've ever done, but it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Last summer, I did an internship in Germany in a genetics lab, and I was able to use the techniques and tools I had learned in the labs here over there, and it made so much more sense because I already knew what I was doing and why I was doing it.
I think teaching is communicating facts, but I think the bottom line for me with teaching is connecting the material so the students not only know it, but appreciate it and also know how to use it.
My teaching isn't about me, it's about where God is taking each individual student down the road.
We have great faculty and they honestly inspire me. Seeing all of these faculty members who have doctorates, you can definitely see what they've learned reflected through what they teach.
They'll constantly tell you, if you need something, come talk to me. I've had teachers other places, and they'll say that, but if you go up to them, they don't really want to give you the time or try to respond. And here, it's just totally different. You can just have a really good teacher-student relationship.
The faculty are saying it's going to take hard work and dedication to be the best at whatever you're doing for God's glory. That philosophy will always work.
Sometimes they'll ask us, what verse do you think would apply to this? How a verse would relate to a situation.
Biblical worldview is seeing all of my life through what God has shown us in Scripture.
And that's one of the reasons why I chose PCC in the first place, is to have faculty that love God to help me further my spiritual walk with Christ.
If my goal is to be in the will of God, it helps so much to know that my teacher has that same goal.
Everything that I see here is Christ-centered. Their main purpose is, we want you to see more of Jesus Christ. That is what I see in PCC.
Why is PCC here? It's to change lives and make them more like Christ. I hope that I can just have a little part of molding and shaping them like the Lord Jesus Christ.
They want students to come out of PCC and to make an influence and an impact on the world. I think their goal really is to change the world, and they do it one student at a time.
As president of PCC, I want you to know that we're committed to providing an excellent liberal arts education that's built upon the foundation and truths of God's Word. We won't compromise on biblical principles, and our purpose is to equip you for whatever it is God's called you to do. Make the most of this opportunity in life, and choose the college that best prepares you for that calling. PCC has so much to offer. We're located just minutes from the beautiful sugar white sands and emerald waters of Pensacola Beach. We're known for providing the best education value among accredited Christian colleges. And we have great facilities and activities that'll provide memorable experience to your college life. So as you think to the future and think about choosing a college, don't just choose a college because of its location, near home or by the beach. Don't just choose a Christian college because it's affordable like PCC is. And don't just choose a college because your friends go there and it looks like a fun place to attend. Choose a Christian college because God's called you there. Because that place will empower you to influence the world for Christ in whatever God's called you to do.
Dedicated leaders rise to the challenges of business management. It takes skill and effort to grow your team, lead your company, and expand your reach. Sharpen your skills and gain a competitive edge with an MBA from Pensacola Christian College. Real-life problems are answered from a biblical perspective to enhance your management and leadership qualities. Dedicated faculty and challenging classes give you the tools to reach your professional goals. Fit your master's degree into your schedule with the flexibility of quality online education, giving you the chance to apply what you learn immediately to your career. Start your journey today with flexible payments and affordable pricing. Invest in your master's in business administration from Pensacola Christian College. It's graduate school built for real life. Graduate school built for you.
I just love what I do just because it's, it's something different every day. I'm different jobs, different states, different people that I talk to. That's just what makes it fun. I work for JRC Incorporated. We are a national contractor. We do a lot of construction across the United States. And I am the contract administrator for JRC. Contract comes in from a general contractor or from an owner. I'll read the contracts, make sure we're covered basically, and sign it off. Purchase material or purchase equipment, things like that for a job whenever we've got a job coming up. Basically get everything lined out, do a lot of logistical type things. I do a lot of the computer work around here too, so I always love that part about my job, I guess. Anytime a new toy comes in, it's Christmas time. I wanted to do something in the secular world, so I knew I could go to PCC and get a liberal arts degree, and at the same time get a Christian education, go to Christian college. It's important to get a Christian education because we're in a secular world, but we need to have a biblical worldview. So taking the things that we learn, whether it be from our parents, from school, from a Christian college, taking those things and applying them in the secular world helps us to be able to be prepared for the things that we're going to face, even in our business classes, because we would obviously discuss the business side of things, but we would talk about how we can apply this as a Christian. It definitely prepared me for what I do.
You have a calling. What are you going to do to achieve it? At Pensacola Christian College, you can pursue that calling through 59 programs of study and graduate with confidence in your education. Earn your accredited degree under seasoned faculty who will strengthen your training with biblical principles. Academic advancement, spiritual growth, and personal development all empower you to reach others for Christ in your chosen field. Pursue your calling at Pensacola Christian College and be empowered to influence your world for Christ.
And we're back as we get ready to kick off the second half of this first NCCAA South Region semifinal. This one between the number 2 seeded Pensacola Christian College Eagles and the number 3 seeded Trinity Baptist Eagles. Eagles lead this one 1-0 after a blistering strike by center back Clint Peterson and an assist on a short free kick over here to our right by Daniel D'Souza. If you're just tuning in, want to thank you for tuning in. We've got watchers from Cincinnati, Ohio. We've got people from Hampton, Georgia. Reading, Pennsylvania, Rick Rhodes. Mansfield, Ohio, Scott McClellan, and others. Eagles lead this one 1-0 as they look to advance to take on the winner of the Bob Jones-Toccoa Falls match later on this evening in the regional tournament final on Saturday right here on Eagle Field at 1 p.m.
Yeah, that first half was a pretty exciting half, especially at the start and the end. Just some notable things about the first half. We've got PCC, our Eagles are putting 21 shots towards the goal that half, while Trinity's only doing 7. And you can see that Trey Nueves has seven saves in that first half, which is pretty impressive. And some of those saves were very clutch saves, probably saved them 2 or 3 goals for sure in that half. And Cuevas not being tested too much. He's only getting 2 saves that half. And again, with all the pressure, both of those were very important saves. Anthony even getting a save in that first half. Corners and everything are pretty even, and a lot of the action coming at the beginning and end of that half.
You know, we mentioned in the pregame, in that conversation I had with head coach Dan Robertson, the like of the Trinity Baptist team to counterattack, and you've seen them do that a couple times. D'Souza getting by the goalkeeper there, going to lead to another corner kick. Trey Nieves, we've mentioned him a couple times. He's made some great saves. I believe you just mentioned 7 or 8. He leads the NCCAA now in saves. He's about to cross the 100 mark this season with those saves in the first half. 1-0 Eagles. We're in the 48th minute of this contest. Eagles hold the 1-0 lead. It could have been more. It could have been less. Both teams have had some opportunities. Specifically, Trinity Baptist, they've had 3 near goals, 1 saved by Anthony Ruiz, the other 2 saved by the good old-fashioned crossbar. Eagles would love to find a second goal here.
And both teams are playing very well mentally as well. In the first half, it was very attacking, but only 2 offsides total, both on Pensacola. But with even all the attacking and everything, you don't see anyone jumping off sides. Everyone's playing very smart, playing patient, and I think that's why it's been leading itself to such a good offensive game so far.
Kluver centers one. Rhodes, I'm not sure who he was looking for. Maybe Sancio. Paukar steps to it and steals it away from Reagan. Sampaio now. Guanipa. Check that. Pablo Garcia laying one into the box. Diaz clearing that one ahead. Again, if you're just watching us, I'll try to. Both teams the Eagles tonight, so I tend to refer to the Pensacola Christian College Eagles as the Eagles and Trinity Baptist as Trinity Baptist. I try to keep those separated as much as possible, but if I goof, that's on me. 1-0 as we tick into the 49th minute of this contest. A 30th minute goal by Clint Peterson, the difference in this game so far. 2 yellow cards for Trinity Baptist. Nathan Williams sitting on a yellow.
Some guys not starting the second half. You don't see Zach out there this half. Hayden and Riley still on the... Oh, never mind. There's Zach.
Kluver left open, and he buries it right after you mention him.
I was about to say I couldn't see him.
For Pensacola Christian
D'Souza,
College, number 2, Zachary
an assist
Kluver.
again on that ball. He passed it to Kluver. Kluver settles it and hammers it home. Let's see it again.
It's almost been a build-up all season with the D1 hype and everyone making fun of him. See how hard he just buries that home right there. Great play right there from the Eagles. Quick transition, good swing with Daniel on his left foot. You love to see Zach being able to put more goals in after last week and his great showing.
You always knew it would come for a player like Zach Kluver. He scored 2 career D1 goals, one against Ohio State, probably a team that you're not a big fan of, Travis, and the other one against Pittsburgh. So the talent level has been there, and it's been fun to see over the last couple of games this weekend and even now tonight. 4 goals in his last 3 contests. Zach Kluver starting to really come around for this team, and if you couple him with Rhodes, Bahalski, this team gets absolutely dangerous.
Yeah, you just couldn't have wanted it to come at a better time for him, and putting in 2 goals like that, putting in a couple goals last week and then a goal right now when it really matters the most, and Zach's really showing up when it's important.
D'Souza using his body right there.
Right here you can see Trinity already getting involved and just playing physically. They're down 2 goals now, and if they just play this type of game, PCC's not going to have a problem the rest of this game. They're already just playing physical. If the ball's not in our net, our motto should be we don't care.
Another great thing to mention, something we talked about in the first half, the injuries that the Eagles are dealing with. Guys like Hayden Hoffman, Riley Bahalski, and now with a 2-0 lead, it gives you the ability, a little bit more breathing room, feeling like maybe those guys won't get in. I know there's been other guys. Cole Williams is on the sideline dealing with an injury. Zach Kluver's dealt with some tired legs this year. Actually, Williams back in the game, but if you're head coach Joe Lee was, if you're able to get a third, do you start to maybe take some guys out and start to prepare for what's going to be quite the showdown probably against Bob Jones or Toccoa on Saturday?
That can be a thought for sure. It's really hard to tell what coach's thought might be here, but I really like right here seeing the quick pressure and then great shot deflected. It should be a corner. I think we'll give it a goal kick. If you watch closely, Zach took out number 20 right there in a cheap shot, and we need to make sure we're being careful as well. But the refs are talking here. I think Zach is going to get a yellow card for it. But we just need to make sure we're not getting mentally involved in this game physically. We just need to make sure that we are playing soccer and keeping our 2-0 lead and trying to gain it right there. Zach might have just made a little mistake right there, getting a little emotional.
2-0 Eagles as we tick into the 52nd minute of this contest. Trinity Baptist finds themselves trailing 2-0, but it could have been a different story if a couple of the near misses in the first half had gone in.
Long delay here.
Two 2-0 Eagles. Nathan Williams standing over the ball. Trinity Baptist, they'd love to find guys like Declan Owen, Paris Reagan, Nasir Guanipa. Guanipa and Owen, you really haven't heard their name much tonight. Trinity Baptist playing around with it in the back. Eagles bringing pressure. The sophomore Lockridge calming things down a bit. Good step by the defender Ruiz. Kluver up ahead. And a good job there. That was Eddie Young using his body right there. And now D'Souza called for the foul, and he's going to pick up the card. Two yellow cards on Trinity Baptist in the first half. 2 now in the last 2 minutes on the Eagles as Kluver and D'Souza both pick them up. Kluver, I think one of the best in the business. He does a really good job at, having an ongoing conversation, and he knows when to stop talking, but he kind of always has this ongoing conversation with the center official throughout the game, and he's standing up for himself, he's standing up for his teammates, and ultimately there are times that later in the game, you might get another card, but there are also fouls that are won because you continue to have little conversations throughout the game.
He does a good job, and he knows how to have a good conversation. He doesn't let his emotions take him too much. But we're already seeing a very physical second half right here, and I think it's just part of all Trinity can really hope for is to just get us wrapped up in stuff like that.
Guanipa looking dangerous. He had an opening, but didn't take the shot. Ball played in. Trinity Baptist. Oh, goal there by Trinity Baptist. I believe Paris Reagan and Travis, he honestly just deserved that.
Baptist College,
after the 2
number
goals
3,
at the
Paris
beginning of the game,
Reagan.
off the crossbar, Paris Reagan finding a goal, and it's 2-1, much like it was in early October.
Yeah, Trinity did a great job right there catching us off guard, and on this replay you'll see none of the Eagles are moving. Watch right here. no white player except for the guy in the back is moving, and all they've done so far is get us mentally involved in their physical game because they're getting away with calls and we're not. And if we stay wrapped up in that, we're going to start seeing maybe a shift in this game. We just need to make sure we're focusing on playing soccer and being physical when we need to be, and then having a good game.
There is now a three-way tie for goals scored for Trinity Baptist. Declan Owen, Paris Reagan, and Nasir Guanipa, each with 7 goals this season. None bigger than that shot there, though, by Paris Reagan. A ball was played into the box. Reagan got his head on the end of it and got it past Cole Williams, maybe a bit late transitioning over, and that's what led to the opening. Just as it looked like the Eagles might start to put this one on ice, Trinity Baptist pulling a goal out of the hat. Sampaio into the box. Good flick on by Rhodes.
Yeah, on that goal, we just were still so wound up in the calls the official was making, and then that potential possible handball on Clint there, which he said was no for keeping it on his side. But, I mean, we just got wrapped up in that, and you saw no white jerseys moving to play defense.
I believe that was Guanipa, and Williams really battling. It's getting chippy. Williams has got to get out of there.
You see the foul on Trinity there for just blatantly grabbing the jersey and pulling him down. That's what Trinity is doing. The ref made the right call there, but now we just need to back off and take what we've been given.
Eagles have got to be careful. They're the 2 seed in this tournament. They hold the lead, and you don't want to have something that would potentially affect not only this game, but a potential game against a Bob Jones or a Toccoa Falls on Saturday.
I kind of like the physicality and then not allowing just backing up on anything, but again, we just need to play smart to be mentally prepared for what Trinity's going to do. This is their only chance. They know it. They don't have as many players. They don't have as much talent. But playing mental games and physical games, they might be able to pull something out.
Travis, and early on in this game, we talked about with the Eagles specifically kind of turning on postseason mode a little bit and having to get, making sure the intensity's there. Somehow, D'Souza's still onside. Keeps the soccer ball, really battling. And the Eagles going to have a free kick.
Yep, see right there, he didn't play the physical game. Number 20 is the one that's going to get in trouble for this. And you see, we're going to get a really great play. This is how we scored our first goal with something like this on the other end of the field.
Other side, and what you saw on that play, D'Souza laying it off to Peterson, and Peterson sending a rocket on frame for his, I believe, 3rd goal of the year. Sampaio plays one in. Kluver tried to get on the end of it. That one off the side post / netting.
Clint did a good job getting that down towards the ground away from the keeper's hands, just off frame though.
It was a 2-0 Eagles lead just a few moments ago, but Trinity Baptist, off a goal by Paris Reagan, has made this interesting. Ball played into the center. And it was Reagan again. The man has been all over the place in the center of the Eagles box, and yet again he seemed to be open in there, Travis.
Yeah, that was just a great pass right there. Bullet right to his head. He didn't have to move. But Trinity did a great job with the transition right there. Eagles could have taken advantage of a poor goal kick if they had been turned around and paying attention.
Cuevas sends one in on the goal kick. D'Souza playing it ahead as Rhodes chases Lockridge.
Good find there after getting forced to not go back to the keeper.
If you think this game's been good, the next one could be even better. To the Toccoa Falls Screaming Eagles versus the Bob Jones University Bruins. The 1 versus 4 seed matchup in this one. The Bruins, the number 1 ranked team in the country.
Great play right there from PCC to get it out of the backfield. We're going to switch fields here. They're just playing really well with the ball on the ground tonight. They've done a great job. Hopefully they continue it through this half.
Eagles yet again switching that point of attack. They've been doing that all throughout this contest, and I think that's what's maybe created a couple of these good opportunities.
Zach's dangerous in those positions right there. He can make passes that a lot of guys can't, like you mentioned. His skill and his level of play is a little bit higher, but keeping him in the game here. Great cross right there, just no one was really ready for it. We're going to get great possession out of it, though.
Rhodes chases it down and tried to center one, but that one, a little bit too much mustard on that one. (2-1) Eagles as we tick into minute number 60. Clint Peterson scored the first. Zach Kluver scored the second, but Paris Reagan has made it a 1-goal game with goal number 3 in the contest. The Eagles look like they were in control, but Reagan scoring a good one. He's had multiple opportunities in this contest. 2 off the crossbar. Guanipa into the box. Ruiz headed away. Good hard tackle over here. Zavin Diaz with it. Centers it, but Ruiz keeps it.
Great play right there to bring it back out away from the center of the field.
Reagan kept on side, sends one nearly on frame. Paris Reagan has been all in more on offense for Trinity Baptist in this game, but so far only with 1 goal to show for it.
Yeah, he's been doing really well for them this evening, and he's keeping it up as well. He's not teetering off here, and hopefully the Eagles' defense can kind of get locked down here. We seem to be possessing it in weird areas right now. We need to just keep the possession and the flow of the game smooth.
Good step there. That was Eddie Young picking off that pass. Chip over, joust for it. Sancio sending one out, and Trinity Baptist going to have their first corner kick, second corner kick of the game. Trinity Baptist made this one interesting, a goal by Reagan. Interesting setup here. Guanipa gives it to Reagan. Ball played into the center of the field. They were looking for Lockridge. Young heads it forward. Guanipa centering one. Cuevas, though, up for the test.
Easy handle for him right there. Did a good job watching the ball all the way to his hands. And great job there from PCC on the defense, not really giving them a chance to do anything with that ball, even though they got it off the deflection.
Rhodes flicked it on. He had a couple opportunities early, but you haven't heard much from Riley Rhodes in this second half. Ball out off Trinity Baptist, and Kluver going to have a throw in.
Coming in for Pensacola Christian College, 14, David Stiefel.
Stiefel into the ball game. Rhodes out. Kluver going to try to heave one. Long throw into the center.
Oh, misstep there with the flick. We had a chance, just no one there.
Sancio, good give and go with D'Souza. D'Souza gets bumped. And the Eagles, this is a dangerous spot, Travis. They go quick.
They're going to get it out wide, maybe try to get a cross in here.
Peterson crosses and does exactly what you just said. D'Souza, though, with it. D'Souza still with it. Gets to the baseline, but that one out past the end line. Eagles continue to lead this one 2-1 as the minutes tick away here on Eagle Field. Want to thank everyone for tuning into this game tonight. It's been a lot of fun. We'd love to hear from you if you've tuned in. Feel free to drop us a comment, maybe a like. Facebook, YouTube. Sampaio goes down, a hard tackle. And he looks like maybe he's in some pain. The clock going to stop here with 27:02 to go.
I mean, tackle from behind. He did hit Ball, also hit Lucas. The refs just got to see that that is just a frustration tackle after getting embarrassed by those couple plays. I mean, Eagles did a really great job getting it up the field right there, and hopefully Lucas isn't too injured or anything here, and it will be something that he can just take a rest and come back in.
Sampaio slow to get up, but it looks like he might be able to remain in the contest. If you're head coach Joe Liwaj, you're walking a fine line here, leading only by 1. You don't want to have to use some of the guys on your bench. Young able to keep it in. Eagles, though, get it back with the throw-in. Sampaio spots the wide open Sancio. Paucar getting into the action.
You can see from the speed of play, we're being very patient, but still at the same time having intensity. It's great to see some of the play we've seen so far this half.
Cross in and head it out.
Like you see guys like Lucas and Hoffa in the middle there with their slow development. They get the ball and they're not scared to possess it, but they still have the intensity of trying to go forward and find the right pass.
Sampaio to send in the corner kick. Peterson tried to get on the end of that one. He did, but misses the goal on the left side. Peterson was looking for his second goal of the contest.
Did you see that sacrifice? Dove in there with no regard for his physical well-being. Just took on 2 or 3 Trinity players right there. Missed the goal by only a foot there. Really great to see him just putting in maximum effort on those headers and those crosses.
A low kick. D'Souza into the center of the field. Here's Stiefel. Eagles working around. Stiefel going down right there.
This play has happened because if you wanted to put a chip in the armor for Trinity's goalkeeper, it's been so far his goal kicks and his punts. They've just not been up to par with what you'd think. His punts haven't gone past half field. His goal kicks are on the ground and not to any of his players. If we just were more intent on those and could pick that up and turn around, I think we'd get more opportunities like this.
If this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you'd phone a friend and call Adrian Torres. This was his bread and butter. This time it looks like either Kluver or D'Souza. My money would be on Kluver. D'Souza took it and it was deflected.
I like that. You put it on frame, made the wall make a stop.
Daniel Vidal about to check in at the next stoppage. Another great switch. Oh, Peterson knew who was behind him. Sancio, Kluver.
Oh!
And it's only fair after Paris Reagan sends 2 off the crossbar. Kluver nearly made it 3-1, but that one off the crossbar as well.
What a play right there from Hoffa to see that run and for Zach to make a great run, got his defender on his back foot. That was such a great opportunity, and I think it'd be fair to say that the crossbar on that side of the field has been the best defender of the night.
I think so. Someone might want to call up the NCCAA and put in the crossbar as the student athlete of the week. And that's only game number 1 of the night.
Game number 1 of the tournament.
I see Toccoa Falls behind me as they get ready for the late game at 7 o'clock. And Bob Jones, you can see them down behind the goal that the Eagles are heading to. Going to be another good matchup, 1 versus 4 in this South Region tournament. Vidal going down. It's getting chippy late here, Travis. (2-1) Eagles. We're in the 67th minute here in Pensacola.
Yeah, and like you just said, I think the closer and closer it gets to the end of this game, both these teams realize this is a must-win. And so I think it's going to get more chippy the closer it gets to the end, especially if the score line stays close.
Stiefel to take the free kick. Sends it on frame. Peterson on the end of it. Oh, and Nieves right on the goal line. Grabbing it after, I believe that was Williams who put it on frame. And Travis, right after you mentioned that Nieves' punts have been a little sketchy, he plays a beautiful one right there up to Guanipa.
Yeah, he took that out quickly, too. Didn't give Eagles a chance to get back. Pensacola was still all up in his box and made a great chance for a one-on-one for his forward.
2-1 Pensacola Christian College. If you've tuned into this one, you got to experience a treat tonight. Eagles led this one 2-0, but Paris Reagan made it interesting with a goal. Trinity Baptist has been knocking on the door, trying to knot this one up. Can they do it? Miscommunication there, but fortunate there was no one in the center of the box as Cuevas picked it up.
I like this play here, keeping possession, rolling it out quick. Giving us a chance on the front. Riley Rhodes with a great move.
Rhodes cuts inside. Riley Rhodes still on the ball. He found Kluver, but Kluver wasn't able to control it.
Riley Rhodes just decided to take on the whole team and got a dub. Great moves right there. Great fake shot. Since we've seen us take shots from that far tonight so far, they were thinking that was going to be a shot for sure.
Sancio on the near sideline to throw it in.
They just didn't realize it wasn't Hoffa.
D'Souza, that probably looked better in his head than it turned out.
I like the pressure we've had so far. It's not spent much time on our half of the field for the second half of the game, but the time it has been down there's been dangerous. I'd like to see us just kind of controlling the chances that Trinity's been given and really keeping them out of our box with dangerous opportunities. I'm feeling some of the emotions come back. I feel like I'm getting drawn into the game here, and I'm feeling the emotions that our guys are feeling out there after being on the field for these type of games. It just draws you back in so easily.
So you mentioned those emotions, Travis. What are those emotions?
I mean, is
that a nervousness, or is that a confidence, or what are those emotions?
You get different answers from all the different types of guys, because for me the emotions were just excitement, and I just wanted to go out there and play, not let the team down and not let myself down by making any errors or anything. But for other guys, it's nerves. They get super nervous and they get really going. Or some guys, it's just straight excitement. They just want to get out there and play. They can't wait for the game to start for one more minute. And so, but for me right now, I just feel like I'm getting drawn into the game. I'm emotionally attached to every play I'm feeling. I'm getting goosebumps watching some of these plays right now. It's just great to see the Eagles out here. I'm sure some of the guys watching at home and that are ex-players as well are feeling the same thing. You just can feel for the boys since you've been in the position before.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is why I bring in former athletes. It's just that feel that no one else can provide. I've never played a minute of soccer out on this field, and for a player who, like yourself, Travis, played in 2 national championships, I mean, this is lightweight compared to some of that, but the games matter just as much because at this point of the year, it's win or go home.
Yeah, and Coach does a really great job. I was trying to say this earlier. He does a great job of making almost every game feel like it's win or go home. But for some of the games, he makes the win a little different. Against a Mobile or a UWF or a tough team or a Faulkner, he doesn't say that we need to win the game to win. He gives us points to work on, and you can see those points coming out in these types of competitions that aren't as good.
D'Souza, Rhodes in the center of the field. If he had controlled it, it would have been 3-1. If you're tuning in, it's 2-1 PCC Eagles versus Trinity Baptist. Bob Jones University is going to face Toccoa Falls College in about 30 to 45 minutes here on Eagle Field. That game slated to start at 7 p.m. This one perhaps going a bit slow, so we'll see if we get that one started on time. Been a lot of fouls called here in the second half, Travis. It's kind of led to a little bit slower of a soccer game.
Yeah, it has just gotten more physical. There are more emotions and just feelings involved in the game so far. But I think both teams have handled it well. We've kind of stepped back from that. That was the first 10 minutes of this half, give or take. And they're really getting back to playing nice soccer. I like the way that it looks. And the Eagles are really, of PCC, are benefiting from getting back to a normal game without much of the physicality.
Hasbrook got underneath that one. Trinity Baptist trying to create an offensive opportunity, but Anthony Ruiz sniffs it out. Stiefel, there's that yellow card you thought he could pick up in the contest.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he came out of a game like this against the rivalry and the different things that we feel against teams like this without a yellow card. He comes out, he plays too hard to not get a yellow card. He has no malice in his heart. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He just plays really hard, and I think it's probably because he's so small. He's got that little man syndrome. But he just comes out and plays hard, and sometimes it goes against him.
It was fun to see the other day that Johnson University of Florida game for Stiefel to get his first career goal and just the excitement of doing that. Reagan sending one. He was looking to get it on frame, but that one, maybe the wind catching a hold of that and sending it far to the left. I've got some Bruins fans sliding into my Instagram DMs, getting excited for the late game. Oh, here's Reagan. Reagan feeds it to Guanipa. The flag stays down, and it's going to be a corner kick. Very nearly a game-changing penalty kick right there, Travis.
I mean, Ruiz is just keeping him in this game. Reagan has just been keeping him in without any support, really. He's made that great pass right there. He's had all of the really great shots you've seen from Trinity. And, I mean, he's playing one of the best games he's played all season. Because it's not like our defense is not stepping up to the challenge. Our defense has looked pretty solid, and he's just really finding his way through it.
Garcia had it. Williams, what a slide tackle. Could have been dangerous, but now here come the Eagles. Stiefel out ahead of the pack. He's got D'Souza backside.
I like this right here. We slowed it down a little bit.
Kluver steps to it, gets around a man. But Trinity Baptist, there was an opportunity right there, but it was wasted. Guanipa kept that one in. And Anthony Ruiz, he's got to be on the short list this season for a first-team all-region showing. Anthony Ruiz and Clint Peterson in the center of the field, about as good as it gets in the South region on defense.
In his first season, he's done really well, shown up really great on defense for us. But something you see right there on that play, I mean, there's no excuse why there should be jerseys being grabbed, why hands and holding is involved in this. It's not like it's just limbs wrapping up. You see literal just grabbing right there. There's no reason that shouldn't be a card or at least a talking to or a warning.
I can't say enough how good guys like Anthony Ruiz, Clint Peterson have been in the center of this defense. And honestly, we're going to watch a Bob Jones team later on tonight that both of those guys potentially could have gone to. Clint Peterson, his sister, the star runner at Bob Jones University. Anthony Ruiz from about 45 minutes down the road in Spartanburg. Both of those guys had an opportunity to go to Bob Jones, and thankful for the Eagles that they're on this team because those two have formed a very formidable back two for the Eagles. D'Souza gets around another man. D'Souza was sure that was a corner kick. He let it roll out of bounds. Sampaio about to check back in for the Eagles. It's 2-1. 76th minute here in Pensacola. Good throw there by Hasbrook.
I think this is a good sub here with Lucas coming in for D'Souza. D'Souza's been just kind of looking like he's not clicking as well this half. He's had some really great passes this half and some of our attacking third. But I think Lucas coming in, Lucas is ready to go. Give him a rest from that little incident he had on the other end of the field with that tackle. And I think he'll come in and give us a pretty good rest of the half if he stays in.
Eagles continue to lead here late. Williams won that ball in the back. Sampaio goes down, clock stoppage, and another yellow card, this time on Declan Owen. Sampaio did a good job at drawing that foul.
Yeah, there was The ball was away, just contact. I don't think there was any form of just aggression there. I think it was just a late tackle, and he just didn't pull back from it. Maybe it's just tiredness kicking in as well. But we've seen a lot of cards pulled this half, and that means players need to be careful for next game as well, especially if they win this game to go into the next one and to avoid getting more cards for potential suspensions on different games.
Ruiz, great ball. Vidal tried to get on the end of it, but a bit too strong.
It looked like he just didn't know where he was in relation to the goal. He didn't know how close he was to the baseline, and a really great pass there, though.
Stiefel stepping in to steal that one. And a good job there, the Eagles quickly switching that point of attack and putting Trinity Baptist on the defensive.
Yeah, you see how open Lucas is in the midfield. It just gives him a point to turn and to see everybody on the field. And we're finding those great passes. The centers really open up for us because we've been hitting those wings so hard. So I think if we can work with Lucas and maybe get him to turn and dribble up the middle a little bit, maybe get some attacks right down the center, I think that open up those wings a little bit more for those attacks as well.
Williams to throw it in on the far sideline. Flicked to the center. Rhodes got hit, but no foul called. (2-1), and you can just feel the pressure a little bit out there, Travis. As you mentioned, I'm starting to get sucked into this game a little bit too, some of the intensity, and realizing that at some point, one of these two teams' season is probably over in about 12 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it'd be hard to not be a homer and not to just kind of support our Eagles as much in this game, but it's actually harder than I thought it was going to be before the game. I'm just really rooting for our boys, hoping they come through. But Trinity's played a really great game tonight and made it just respectable on both ends, to where if either team wins, you think they deserved it. They've played well. Both teams have had great scoring chances. So I'm glad that it's a good soccer game. It's not a 2-1 game where one team's playing well and the other team's got a junk goal. Both teams have played well, and so you're okay with either outcome.
Eagles looking for a late goal to give them some breathing room. If you're head coach Dan Robertson, though, for Trinity Baptist, you have to be pleased yet again with your team's performance. They've been kind of building all season. 13 men on this squad. They played Bob Jones to a 2-1 game earlier this year. They've paid Pensacola to a 2-1 game. So this season could have been completely different in terms of rankings had they won one or two of those games. Trinity Baptist has to be proud of how they've played in this contest. Here's Williams. He loves to send it in the box from here. He sent it low and hard.
I like that. Keeping it on the ground right there for a change. I like changing up the ideas of attack. And then again, that deflection could have gone any way that it could have gone. Trinity did a great job clearing it.
Peterson into the box. Headed out by Young. Sancio, he ripped this one right here.
Yep.
Big strike.
Woo! There's that anger we were talking about. That was 30 yards, 35 yards out.
I really wish that we had seen him do this throughout his Eagles career. He clearly has a good shot. And right there, almost made it 3-1. And there would have been no stopping that ball if it had been on frame for Trainee Eves.
Yeah, that was a bullet. It was right on the right height. Just needs to put that a little more on frame.
Eagles seem to be in control here late, but anything can change quickly. Nieves has played a great game in goal. Cuevas really hasn't been tested. Can Trinity Baptist find a late goal?
I think that's one of the main differences we've seen this half is we've controlled the center, especially coming down the end. I do think fatigue is playing a factor in it. Lucas and Vidal and these guys are having a great opportunity to play down the half. Offsides there for the first time for Trinity. But I think we've just controlled the center really well this second half, and we're winning the 50-50 balls this time. And Lucas is looking really well. D'Souza looked really good. And so I think controlling the center has given us great control this half.
How Carr just touched it. We haven't said his name a lot, and that's kind of been a theme this year. And as a center defensive midfielder, you don't mind not having your name said that much on a broadcast.
I never minded it.
Augustin got inside. Kluver still with it.
Trinity's playing very disciplined defense here. They're not giving us too many forward opportunities. They're just playing, making us go to them, which can be hard.
Did you just see what just happened right there, Travis?
No.
A hustle play there by Augustin, and he gets grabbed and creates a opportunity here for the Eagles, but without the hustle, that wouldn't have happened. So a great play there by Augustin.
Maybe the ref heard me. I was just talking that it's not limbs wrapping up. They're literally grabbing. There's hands. There's jerseys being pulled. And, I mean, this can be a game changer just from that one play.
Sancio over the ball. You've got Sampaio, Rhodes, Augustin, and Kluver backside.
Very dangerous play. That's just got to be on frame.
I thought that was a goal from my vantage point when Augustin hit it.
He's going to want that back because he's been working hard getting the minutes he's gotten so far this year with his first year on the team. And, I mean, it doesn't get much prettier than that. That whole backside of the goal was open. You just got to put that on frame. What a cross. We've done really well with our set pieces so far tonight.
Which has not been something the Eagles have been able to say both this season and maybe even in years past.
Correct.
They've really done a good job, though, tonight. Some pushing and shoving going on in the center of the field. Kluver getting his teammates out of there. Game getting chippy.
You see a lot of things going on right here. There was a foul in the midfield. Ref did a good job. It was nothing. And then number 2 for Trinity just turns around and runs over our player. And then it just starts getting verbal, which means emotions are getting involved, pride's getting involved. And this is something that both Eagles, PCC and Trinity, don't need to be getting involved in right now. The Trinity should be focused on getting another goal so their season doesn't end. And the Eagles should just be focusing on playing a very tough last 6 minutes of soccer to have their season continue on.
The center official going to card Lockridge.
I think that's the right call. He did make just a dumb off-the-ball play to tackle our player, but you just see that there's a lot of emotions wrapped up in this game, and there's a lot of things going on, and then when pride gets thrown in and then your ego gets involved, that's when you see stupid plays like that. They just need to focus on the last game of soccer. These last 6 minutes, for some of the players on Trinity, this is your last 6 minutes of soccer potentially, other than the game you get to play on Saturday, which would be a consolation game.
(2-1) Eagles, 6:19 to go. Clock stopped. We're in the 84th. Eddie Young going to back it up a little bit. Continuing to take it back.
Clock's not going, so it's not a big issue, and just making sure we got in the right spot here.
Can Trinity Baptist find a late equalizer? Not if Clint Peterson has anything to do with it. Cuevas covering that one up.
Did a great job getting on top of it, possessing it, and now taking his time to let the field develop, everyone get up the field here. I don't like playing it short, though, right in this position. I just wanted to get up the field here. Everyone's a little energized and fired up, and when that happens, you don't know what can really happen on the field.
Young gets Augustin. Eddie Young to throw it in. Zavin Diaz going up the field.
He's been wasting time for his team all night doing stuff like that, moving up the field on the throw-ins. But his throw-ins are long, so if he can get those couple extra yardage, that could be the difference between getting in the box or not.
Nathan Williams sends one deep. Lockridge up from defense. Oh, what a tackle by Cole Williams.
Cole's made a couple really nice tackles tonight, stopping the ball, stopping the whole attack, and even right here now he's working his way up the field on the transition.
We'll find out the NCCAA South Region first and second teams tomorrow. I think Cole Williams could potentially make that second team. He's played great back there this year. Play on, the center official says. Eagles had a chance to get a third. It's just completely stopped on the field right now. Williams crossed one in. Deflected out, and a player down for Trinity Baptist, and the clock finally stops.
We'll get a corner when it comes back, but right there you see some of the great, you see Cole's just skill and ability showing up on the field with his play, but then you see some of the inadequate just experience on the field with that cross. He should have put that on the ground to somebody's feet with the transition, or even just pulled it back to slow it down. But you just see his skill level. He's made some great tackles on the backfield there. And we're going to get a break here, and we'll see what happens when we come back for the Eagles corner kick.
The Trinity players still down on the field. It looks like maybe just a leg cramp. That's pretty natural after 90 minutes. And now the center official flagging on the trainer, Stephen Halsey, from the Andrews Institute to come out and check on the player. I can't quite figure out who's down. I'll try to get you that update as quickly as possible. You're also going to see a Samuel Berrigan sub coming on. He played in the first half, and he also scored his first career goal, Travis, in that game against Johnson University of Florida a couple weeks ago. He came up to me, and I actually think he's right on this. He was the youngest player in Eagles soccer history to score a goal.
How old is he?
I don't even think he's 8. I'm not even sure he's 18 yet. You saw Pau Carr check out. He's played most of this one, if not all of this one. Getting a well-deserved breather here with 4:45 to go as head coach Joe Lewas for the Eagles looks to shore up his defense late. That player down for Trinity Baptist looks like potentially Pablo Garcia. Struggling to see the front number, but it is indeed Garcia. Looks like maybe a leg cramp, hopefully nothing more. Definitely want to mention a corner kick opportunity coming up after we restart play. And yet again, for those of you watching, another good soccer game to come. Toccoa Falls College, the 4 seed in the South region, going to take on the number 1 seed, the number 1 ranked team in the country, Bob Jones University. Bob Jones trying to punch their ticket to the South region final. The Eagles trying to do it as well. If the Eagles are able to hold on and Bob Jones is able to come away with a victory later on, that would set up a matchup of titans on Saturday, Travis. Stiefel sends one in. Riley Rhodes, as he started in the first half, got his head on it, but still not able to finish. Clock should start. Took about 30 seconds for that one to start. We'll see if it plays a difference. Guanipa into the attacking third. Ruiz over to cover it up.
That's a good play right there to slow down the attack and to let the PCC Eagles get back on defense here. Let your team consolidate a little bit.
A heady play there by the freshman Ruiz. Young trying to throw one into the box. He was looking for Lockridge. Ball deflected down and sent out. Good job by Sampaio. These last 35 seconds have seemed like it's been forever. Trinity Baptist now with numbers. Reagan knots it up at 2. Paris Reagan, his second goal of the game, and a shocker here late, Travis.
Eagles did PCC right there. You could see we did a great job clearing the ball, and then we did not move up as a unit. We overextended ourselves on the transition there, and as you can see, the result was an easy goal for Trinity.
A shocker here late. Paris Reagan has just taken over the goal lead and tied this one up at 2 here with 3:56 to go. Travis, you felt like the Eagles were in control, but Trinity Baptist had something to say about it as they knot this one up at 2.
Like you said, soccer can be something that is terrible, and after having a great half, all it takes is one play, 35 seconds, and the score is tied up, and then you don't really know what's going on.
And now Kluver the other way. Can he end it? Kluver sent one on frame, but Nieves, the NCCAA leader in saves, makes another big one.
Really good job, not just to save it, but he also controlled it, kept it in his hands, no rebounds. Great job right there.
Nieves, a big boot forward. The Eagles' defense that had looked so strong throughout this game, giving up a late equalizer. Pensacola Christian and Trinity Baptist going to play a little bit longer as the pressure turns up here. Eddie Young chesting that one out of play. Rafael Sancio now to throw it in. Eagles have got to feel shocked, but they've got to step up here late if they hope to move on. And Travis, it's goals like that that have really made me fall in love with the game of soccer, because at any given point, these games are so close that one mistake could lead to a difference. I think of the game of basketball. It takes, points get scored so quickly, but goals mean so much.
Yeah, it's a different type of animal where you have to be focused and concentrated for 90 minutes, come out and play a strong game, even against an opponent that you might be better than. They can get one or two lucky shots in, and that's all it's going to take.
Trinity Baptist should really be proud in this effort. They've given the Eagles all they can handle tonight. Nieves and Rhodes colliding, as Rhodes was trying to get on the end of that one. 2-2 as we tick under 2 minutes to go. We were supposed to start the Bob Jones game at 7, but that's not looking likely. Peterson clears one upfield. The pressure, you can cut it with a knife right now. Eagles sending numbers forward, but they've got to be careful on a quick counter. A berth in the South Region Championship on Saturday on the line. Kluver thought about it. Rhodes gets there. Eagles scrambling for it. Nieves diving back for it. That was the opportunity, Travis. Let's see if they got that replay.
He made a great save right there off of Riley Rhodes' ball. That was a great pass from Zach. Way to get his hands on it right there on that replay, and then covering it up at the end of that play.
The best save of the night for Trey Nieves. He got a finger on that one, if that. 2-2, clock stops for the sub. 36.5 seconds away from sending this game into overtime. Unlike in the regular season, if this game were to remain tied even through double overtime, we'd have penalty kicks on this field tonight. Eagles potentially one last opportunity to send them through to the championship. The moment weighty. Sancio, great cross. Peterson got on the end of it, and he's taken down. That could have very easily been a foul call. 13 seconds to go, the 10-second countdown about to start. Stiefel centering it.
Looking for Rhodes right there.
And that'll do it here in regulation, Travis. Trinity Baptist finding a late goal. It was the second goal of the game, the 9th goal, make it 8th goal of the season for Paris Reagan, but that makes it 2-2, and we're going to get ready for overtime, 2 10-minute overtime periods, golden goal prescribed, and if that's not enough, we will have penalty kicks here tonight on Eagle Field.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, too, with the tale of two halves right there. And then also with Pensacola playing really well in the game and then only getting 2 goals to fall, and then Trinity also doing the same thing with their 2 goals falling. It's going to be hard to come back in on this half with a good mentality and really want to get those goals. But hopefully we'll see both of the Trinity and Pensacola Eagles coming out hard, giving us a good showing in the second half.
We're going to jump on camera as we get ready for this overtime, Travis, but what a contest so far between these two teams. It looked like PCC had secured this one, but Trinity Baptist finding that late goal and ultimately propelling themselves into a do-or-die type situation here in overtime.
Yeah, the game got physical, and both teams started playing it that way. And then as we stepped into really playing our normal game of soccer, you could see that both teams had their opportunities, and Trinity was just able to finish.
Travis, you played in a game just like this, a 1-to-1 game at Bob Jones University, I believe in 2017, a game that you guys went on to win 5-3 in penalty kicks and then went on to win the national tournament. But it's games like these, the pressure just has to feel immense, and you mentioned the emotions earlier. How do you handle that as a player out on this field?
In the game, you really don't have time to think about it. If you spend time on it, your play might suffer from it. You really just have to go out and treat it like another game. You know the weight and importance in your body, and your emotions and your energy is going to go with that. But you also just know that you got to go out and play some soccer and do the best you can.
If you're Trinity Baptist, you gave yourself this opportunity late, but now transitioning into overtime, you can see these guys, they look exhausted down on the field, stretching. They have given only a 13-man roster for this Trinity team. What are you looking to do here in this overtime to potentially get the victory? I'll get to the Eagles in a second.
I think that the best bet for them is to just keep up what they've been doing. They've been sitting back on defense, making us go to them instead of attacking, and they're really setting up a wall that we have to go through if we want to score. Another thing that they've done well is instead of just trying to possess and wear themselves out, they've been quick transitions up the field, giving themselves odd number chances to score.
And if you're the Eagles, we've got to talk about them. You thought you maybe had this one in the bag. You were up 2-1. There was about 4 minutes to go when Paris Reagan equalized this one. How do you regroup and now come away and try to get a goal here late? You really don't want this to go to penalty kicks if you're both teams.
You just have to know if you're Pensacola that you've had the great chances, you've had opportunities, and you just haven't capitalized on them. It's not anyone else's fault other than your own. Use that to motivate you. Come out there and play strong. You guys have the ability. They have the play. I think we might see some really good subs and opportunities in these overtimes, and I think Coach Joe's going to have it under control.
So here's a question for you. Let's play the what-if game. Say this game does go 2 overtimes, and we do go to penalty kicks. If you're head coach Joe Lewas, do you consider putting your studs on the field, the Hayden Hoffmans, the Riley Bahalskis, putting them in cold for a late game type situation? Is that something that plays into your mind?
Absolutely. I think that's what you have to do because they take PKs all the time in practice. Coach knows his 5. So if they're on the 5, they're going to be on the field by the time that double overtime is over in order to get them in there for the PKs.
You play defense for the Eagles. You played 3 seasons of it. Games like this, how do you start to feel at the end as a defender? It's, maybe not as much pressure as an offensive player. Obviously, you're trying to score, but knowing that at any moment on defense, this game could be over because of a mistake.
Yeah, again, that's just not something that you can allow into your thought process, at least for me. I just knew that I had a great team in front of me, a great keeper behind me, and guys to my sides. And I knew I was going to play hard. And if it ended because of a mistake I made, I knew that I would regret it. I knew that I would try to make it up to the team. But you just can't think like that. You're just going to play hard and just trust on your skills and your practice for all year.
We've got 1 minute, 5 seconds, so less than a minute now before we kick off this double overtime. Travis, I don't think we could have wanted anything better this evening. Obviously, being more so Eagles fans, but really just being treated as a soccer fan to a great game this evening. And, the scary thing for me, I've still got another one after this.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic game. I mean, both teams have played well. The emotions have been there. The energy's been there. It's just been a great game to watch, and the fact that it gets to keep going is almost just like a blessing.
We're looking forward to the first overtime period. We'll see if we have to use the second overtime period. It's 2-2 at the end of regulation. You see it's getting a bit windy here in Pensacola as we slowly zoom out, get us back to soccer. Trinity Baptist coming up with a late goal and giving themselves a chance to unseat the number 2 seed. And Travis, if you look out there right now on the soccer field, I mentioned, do you consider putting your studs into the game, the Hayden Hoffmans, the Riley Bahalskis? And look who's on the field. I see Hayden Hoffman and Riley Bahalski out there. Head coach Joe Lewas wants to, if he loses, lose with his best. If he wins, he wants to have his best players on the field.
As you were mentioning that, I actually looked over your shoulder and saw Hayden and Riley doing sprints, doing jogs, and stretching up the field. So I could tell they were going in, and I think Coach Joe's making the right call. He's putting the guys in. They're going to be completely fresh, too, and they're going to be hungry. Both of those guys don't want their season to end tonight.
And for a guy like Bahalski, a fresh set of legs has to be huge. He's one of the fastest guys on the field at all times. And what you may see is, do the Eagles, a tired Trinity Baptist team, you see still some of them over here stretching, others were a few moments ago. Do you try to maybe get a long through ball in early on and try to get it on the foot of Bahalski?
I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends with us saying either Hayden or Riley put a screamer in off of a wide open chance or something, just from a hustle play or something, since they've not touched any of this field for the full 90 minutes.
I was Nostradamus a couple minutes ago saying they might come in, but maybe you'll be that person, and we'll see if that prediction holds up. Travis, I haven't played a game. I've never done a game like this. This much pressure. You know, it's one thing to do a normal soccer game and to go into double overtime, but you know you've got another one. This could end one of these two teams' seasons.
Yeah, it's a high-pressure situation, and you definitely feel the intensity. It feels different. You just come out and you play hard, and I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams come out kicking on another cylinder that we haven't seen yet tonight, just because they know that that's the case, and all it takes is one goal.
My heart's pumping a little bit faster, so I'm sure some of these players are. For guys like Bahalski and Hoffman checking in after sitting the whole game, you have to do a good job at maintaining that adrenaline. I think of a guy like Hayden Hoffman, though. He's a primetime player. He scored a goal in that 2019 National Championship. He tends to score big goals. Here's an opportunity.
Riley with a great cross right there. We see Hayden to Riley. They're working well already.
Another opportunity as D'Souza centers one. D'Souza keeps it. The wind picking up here late in Pensacola. We've still got another one. D'Souza gets into the center. Hoffman kept it in possession for the Eagles. The left-footed Bahalski looking for Rhodes. And it should be a corner kick.
Great pressure right there for the Eagles, keeping it in the box. And like I was saying, Trinity is stepping back. They're just putting numbers in the box, and they're making us go through them. They're not overextending themselves.
Sancio sets that one down, gave the soccer ball a little kiss. We'll see if it's good luck. Sancio into the center. That one turned away. Every shot towards the center matters a little bit more right now. I did 2 basketball games earlier. I'm late into this soccer game. I'm hoping I got enough voice for a good goal call if this one ends. Bahalski centered, and it bounces around.
Great cross right there. Riley Rhodes was in the right spot.
Reagan plays it ahead. Cuevas way off his line. Sends it sky high. Elijah Hisbertha into the game. You saw Salvador Paucar exit late. Perhaps some tired legs. This is crunch time for the Eagles. Sancio goes down, perhaps a cramp.
That's what it looks like right there just after that pass.
Those little Charlie horses will really sting.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks like a calf cramp right there, and those are some of the worst.
Sancio down on the play. Score tied at 2, 7:35 remaining. Sancio's certainly going to exit, and a guy like Vermont Rhodes is coming in, and that just kind of shows some of the embarrassment of riches, the depth on this Eagles team, a player that is extremely capable, and Joe Lewas can just call in another left back.
Yeah. Didn't have to think about it too long, just picked up his next guy and put him on the field. Hopefully it's nothing too bad for Hoffa, it's just that cramp, get some fluids in him and get him back on the field.
7:35 remaining here in the first overtime period. It's 2-2. One of these teams more than likely going to see their season end tonight.
Coming back in, we'll have a Pensacola throw in down towards Trinity's area. Zach's going to take it. I'd like to see it go maybe towards the box with Riley and Hayden in there. Give them a chance to really use their energy.
Sancio looks like he's in a lot of pain. Sometimes those cramps take a little bit to get out.
And the worst part about some of them is once you get that first cramp, the next ones are super easy to come by. You take a wrong step, put just a little bit of pressure, it's going to come back.
Kluver going to throw it in here on the near sideline. He's got Riley Rhodes in the center. He's got Bahalski. He's got D'Souza, but sends it to Vermont Rhodes, who just checked in. And perhaps the cold legs of Vermont Rhodes leading to that mistake.
Anthony's in a great spot right there to recover with that. Good switch I think we'll see here, and hopefully we'll be able to transition with this. I think possession isn't that bad of a thing with this 10-minute overtime periods.
Up ahead to Hoffman now. And that ball out of play on the far sideline. 7 minutes to go here in overtime number 1, 2-2 on the scoreboard. The Eagles scored the first 2 goals of the game. Trinity Baptist has scored goals number 3 and 4. Paris Reagan, the culprit for Trinity Baptist on both of those. Peterson and Kluver, the 2 goal scorers for the Eagles. 3 yellow cards apiece. This game could not be any closer. Everyone on the Eagles bench standing except for Sancio, who just exited with the cramp. Reagan inside. Cuevas stuffs it. Biggest save of his career. The pressure. And Cuevas stepping up.
Ramon did a great job clearing that after that as well. On the replay here, you'll see that it was a wide open net. Great job right there clearing it wide. Way to keep that mentally aware.
And it was Paris Reagan yet again. He's been involved in every big offensive possession for Trinity Baptist. Kluver sends one out, and the fans give him a round of applause. Ball played through, but harmlessly out of bounds. You're seeing a lot of stabbing here late, Travis, and that's just because a lot of these guys are very tired.
Yeah, it's normally just comes when you get more tired, your mental discipline's gone down. And another thing we're seeing right now is Trinity's got that energy after that. You see them pushing forward with numbers, with a lot of energy and hype. It's something that the momentum can easily change in an overtime period.
Play on, Guanipa. Up to Reagan. Peterson there. Shot missed. Trinity Baptist, though, has clearly been the aggressor in this overtime period. Good on them.
Yeah, it started with both sides going back and forth a little bit, and now after that shot, you see a lot of energy from them, and they're putting pressure on.
If you were tuning in expecting the Bob Jones game, you're getting to see overtime here in Pensacola instead. That game will start after this one. Rhodes. Nifty play by Hoffman. Eagles getting upfield and looking dangerous. There's Hoffman! Hoffman!
Hayden!
The game winner, but it's called off. I wanted to call it too, Travis, and like you said, you thought Hoffman would be in the middle of it. The offsides flag there, and it looked like the Eagles bench was ready to explode.
On this replay here, we'll be able to see how close it was. Yeah, from the replay, it looks like the pass came later than he was anticipating there, which caught him offsides as he kept running forward.
Hoffman still frustrated. He thought he was on, but it looked like clearly offsides up here. Travis, you thought you had the game in the bag if you were the Eagles right there. You don't want to create an offensive counterattack right here, so you've really got to settle down. So honestly, that yellow card, not a bad play by Hoffman because it slowed everything down and allows everyone to regroup.
Yeah, and he needed to, I mean, this is a high emotional game for him. He just needed to get that off of his chest there. And I mean, it's encouraging to see. If you're PCC here, you're thinking there's a chink in the armor. There's definitely weaknesses and chances. And you're really thinking that this is the time when you really need to attack. There's blood in the water.
It was those fresh legs that you mentioned. Boholski and Hoffman really in on the action right there. Hoffman very nearly had his 7th career goal, and none would have been bigger than that.
Great header, too. Not too much power over the keeper. Cole with a great cross. I mean,
my heart is still pounding. Reagan, another chance, and that time on the side of Clint Peterson, a mistake that you don't normally see him make.
Well, it's all started with Anthony with that missed clearance. I mean, every touch right now is so important. When people are tired, strange things can happen, and those clearances just have to be more shored up.
Travis, you mentioned earlier this game was starting to suck you in. It has sucked us in and more right now. We are in the midst of what has been a great soccer game. 2 hard-fought teams in this one. Nieves sent it low and hard. Turned over in the center of the field. Williams was grabbed, but he kept it. Eagles with numbers forward. Oh, good find by Kluver. He was looking for Hoffman. Bahalski, the fresh legs, getting to that one. Can the Eagles find another dangerous opportunity? Bahalski into the box. Deflected off of Rhodes and covered by Nieves.
Just too hard of a touch right there. I think that we're kind of working it up a little too fast right now. Zach's cross and Riley's cross right there. Not very many people in the box or even attacking. I think it just needs to be worked up slowly as a unit. I just think the emotions and energy are getting to us.
Ball played ahead. Peterson racing back. These guys have got to be exhausted. They've played 98 minutes in this contest so far. A foul called there.
Might have just been a laid out of bounds call.
Oh, you might be right. Rhodes sends that one out. He's played every minute in this game. So has Peterson. So is Ruiz. I believe Kluver as well. The pressure ratcheting up here on Eagle Field. Rhodes and Kluver trying to team up. Kluver, who's been slowly building this season. He's had 3 goals in his last 3 games. 4 goals make it in his last 3 games. Could he be the hero in this one?
I think we could see it. I would be surprised if Hayden and Riley aren't just itching to get something going right now as well.
Hoffman maybe even more so after thinking he had just scored the game winner to send the Eagles to the South Region Final.
Good switch right there. Wide open field here.
D'Souza, one man to beat. It's Eddie Young. Oh, what a tackle there. A great play by Declan Owen, the transfer from Bruton Parker. The stat table taken out. Down below us. That one happened right in front of us. Owen and Bahalski both going for the same ball. And it looks like the stat person may have lost his lunch.
At least it wasn't his laptop or that printer.
45 seconds to go. Trinity trying to kill as much time as possible and hope for a last-ditch goal. Eagles trying to send this one to the second overtime period. Bahalski on it. Eagles with numbers. They've got 21 seconds left. Bahalski bringing all the speed in the world. D'Souza, one man to beat. It's Nathan Williams. And Williams makes a great play.
I think we have a throw in here.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're going to have a second overtime. Travis, what a soccer game we have witnessed in Pensacola in this one.
Man, it's been great. Both of the halves in regulation were great, and now we see the first overtime comes through. High energy. Both teams have chances. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a much better soccer game throughout the night. And with the way it's looking, we've got 10 more minutes of this, and then if that ends, we're going to have PKs after that. This has just turned into be a great soccer game that the winning and losing team will not forget.
Just 2 minutes between these periods. There's 5 minutes at the end of regulation between the first overtime period, but only 2 minutes between periods 1 and 2. Travis, 10 more minutes to potentially decide this. Golden goal, 10 minutes. And then ultimately, if neither team comes away victorious, then we will have penalty kicks here on this field, a field that has never seen penalty kicks.
Yeah, it's an exciting thought for sure, but I'm sure both teams would wish to just put a goal in real quick and call it a night. But the way that it's looking, both teams are playing very strong offense, but very strong defense as well. And so it'll be interesting to see how these last 10 minutes play out.
Travis, this is why I do what I do as a broadcaster. It's opportunities like this. I just had a moment, a memory of sorts about a game, the first home game that we ever played here. It was against Trinity Baptist. And PCC, it was 2-2. It was double overtime. And a cold-blooded assassin, Nick Standridge, led this field to be mobbed that night. And that, I believe, is really what catapulted this program into the next year winning a national championship. And ultimately, too, one of my fondest memories as an Eagles soccer fan, and even that year coached by head coach Fred Johnson, who works so hard alongside guys like Coach DeLima to make moments like this possible. And that's powerful. I'm getting chills just talking about it, but it's so neat to now see how this has all come full circle, and we'll see if the Eagles can send the faithful here home happy yet again.
Yeah, that was our first home game in 20 years as an Eagles program, and going into double overtime against an in-conference rival. They had not lost in almost 2 years at that point, winning the national championship, and coming onto our field for the first time, just with all the hype and everything around our team, and then having Coach Johnson there, having Coach DeLima there, having these guys that were instrumental in getting the team back up. I mean, it's a moment that you can't really create artificially. It just happens on its own. And, I mean, it's something that won't ever be forgotten, and I think this night might turn into something just like that.
2-2 as we head to the second overtime period tonight. These are the moments you dream for as a broadcaster, as a player, those potential walk-off goals. 2-2. If the Eagles win this, I'm not sure you're going to keep the fans off the field tonight.
I don't think so, no. Social distancing will not be practiced.
Lockridge sent one in deep. Sancio continues to be out. Reagan sends one on frame. Cuevas watches that one sail harmlessly into his gloves.
Yeah, he handled that well. That was good. And then I like seeing Trinity just putting their chances on goal as well. Either team, all they need is just one bounce, anything to find its way to the back of the net, and they've got themselves into the regional championship.
The one-seeded Bruins, the four-seeded Screaming Eagles watching down here on, I believe, the east side of the field. The west side, the side the Eagles are going to, vacant. 2-2 as we tick nearly to 9 minutes to go. There's a lot of fans standing out here, Travis. Nervousness on this field for the home team. And up here, let's be honest.
We've got Cole back in this half as well. You like to see that. It's just every single play, especially as a defender, is so important right now with everyone wanting to get that game-winning goal for their team.
Peterson slithering. Eagles with numbers. You see Hoffman racing forward. Riley Rhodes has been all over the goal all night. He's fouled, and the Eagles coaches wanted a call. Eagles got to be careful right here. We've seen counter strikes come back to hurt them before. Cuevas, he'd be smart to just settle things down right now. That could have been a foul call on that end.
It could have been. It would have been a tough choice for the official to make right there. There wasn't much contact. There was just some interference. But I think it was a good decision on him to just let play on.
Great ball. Peterson up to D'Souza. Can he hang on? Not able to, and going to be a goal kick. You can cut the tension with a knife here on Eagle Field. It's 2-2. It's double overtime. Winner go home.
There's not much possession at this point. There's just guys thinking about ending this game and sending their team on to a championship opportunity.
Eagles with some fresh legs out there. Hoffman, Baholski maybe coming back a little bit, trying to make sure they don't give it up on defense. Ball played ahead. Cuevas right there, locks it up.
Yeah, right there. See just a little miscue by Riley, flicking it on instead of getting his head on it to hit it forward. I mean, any little thing right now is just so much more magnified and important than it was at the beginning of the game.
Travis, I think of a heartbreaking moment earlier on in this season against Bob Jones, a shot that Bob Jones scores, 108th minute, that one in double overtime. Cuevas misplaying that one. And yes, did that hurt the Eagles? Absolutely. But for Cuevas, you have to have an increased confidence level now, having gone through it once and knowing what to do better here late. Eagles center at Lopez was there. Can the Eagles create an odd man rush?
I like this, a little slowing it down with especially tired legs for Trinity.
D'Souza, if he could have spotted a streaking Williams over here, but missed him. That one played back in by Garcia. Oh, what a game here in Pensacola.
Good touch there.
D'Souza keeps it. D'Souza into the attacking third, centers it. Rhodes was trying to send one on frame.
D'Souza with his left foot, I almost think could have caught
Williams,
Nieves
watch
off
Kluver
guard.
backside. Tried to hit him.
Misplayed. See, everything matters right now.
Kluver just tried to send one in. Dangerous kick there by Trinity. 2-2 as we tick under 6 to go. When I started this day today, I planned on doing 4 quarters of basketball for the girls team, 2 halves for the men's team, and 90 minutes of regulation, but I've gotten so much more in this contest.
Here we go with a very dangerous position for a set piece for PCC here. This could be the game-changing moment. This could be the season-changing moment for both of these teams. Riley's on it with his fresh legs.
Bohalski over the ball. Sent in. Kluver got a head on it. He was off sides. 5:15 to go. 2-2 on the scoreboard. Golden goals, double overtime. All the superlatives in this one. Player down. It's Garcia again. He exited in the first half with a cramp, and it looks like maybe experiencing a second one here in the double overtime period, Travis.
Clock stopped right at 5 minutes to go. We see him actually being carried off by his teammates here.
Some good comedic relief right now. I hear some laughs. I need to laugh right now. I'm feeling a little tense, Travis. Are you?
Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure right now. There's a little bit of tension in the air.
And now Dan Robertson with the military carry. Trinity Baptist really leaving it all on the field. 13 players for them, and they have given all and more. And players like Garcia, who exit for the second time tonight. Guanipa with the soccer ball. Up ahead looking for Reagan. Peterson trying to shield. Great job by Cuevas to come far off his line. Bohalski the other way, those fresh legs. Oh, so valuable late. Throw in now on the far sideline. Travis, 4 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in what has been a phenomenal contest. D'Souza got it to his left foot. That's where he's dangerous, but just missed it.
Yeah, I think Hayden and Riley have both done a really good job since their fresh legs and fresh minds as well. They've not been exhausted. They're spending their time possessing the ball for our team, giving us a chance to get in positions with those tired legs.
Eagles 9-3 all time versus Trinity Baptist. They've played Trinity Baptist in 2 regional finals. This one has been quite the game. Guanipa was trying to find Reagan, who's been the hero tonight. Williams chasing. Guanipa. Ball centered, but Bohalski there to cut it down. Another stop by Bohalski. Guanipa into the box. And that one harmless. 3 minutes, 11 seconds to go. If a goal doesn't happen, we will have penalty kicks in this one.
Great pass right there.
Rhodes to Rhodes up the field. Williams giving chase and deflecting that one. Eagles clearly not sending the same numbers forward here late. They want a goal, but they also don't want to lose it. D'Souza looking for Rhodes. Somehow Rhodes got a boot on that.
Yeah, that cross wasn't where it should have been. It was a little far, but Riley's still putting his best effort forward to keep it inbounds, maybe giving us a chance. You never know with 2.5 minutes left where that ball could bounce.
Nieves as the clock ticks under 2:20, 2-2. What a soccer game you've been treated to if you've tuned in tonight. Eagles get it in the center of the field. Can they create a last-ditch opportunity?
About even numbers forward here.
Kluver there. Here's Hoffman in the center. A mistake. Unfortunate for the Eagles. It's going to be a corner kick. As I mentioned, I don't think you're going to keep the Eagles faithful off the field if they score the late goal. D'Souza over the ball in the corner. Kluver, Peterson. Can Peterson find another game winner? Out of bounds.
Just those tired legs playing a factor. D'Souza's his depth is off with his power just because he's been working all game, so tired.
Trinity Baptist switching strategies here as Lockridge to take the kick. He's got a big boot. They're going to look for Paris up top. Bohalski wins it in the center. Williams got up there. Williams going to try to keep it in.
It looks like Riley Bohalski's been just deflecting everything with the energy and the speed that he has. He's just been right in front of Trinity, not giving him a chance to move forward. Slow to move here, slow forward here for Trinity. Eagles are playing good defense. We're just standing there making them come to us. Ball hit into the box, easily handled by Cuevas. I think that with this possession right here, the Eagles, PCC, are going to get one last opportunity.
Bohalski got ahead on it. Rhodes tried to get one. He's fouled.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Can the Eagles get the free kick in play? Kluver over it. Sent on frame. Nieves cleans it up. Travis, we're going to have penalty kicks.
First time on this field for penalty kicks. It's just going to be something special, I think. First time we've had regionals. First time for a penalty kick on the field.
2-2. The camera going to be turned on us. Travis, what a game in this one. Eagles thought they had it in the bag at the end of regulation, but Paris Reagan really stepping up for this Trinity Baptist team. Netted the equalizer. We've played an additional 20 minutes. It's now 110 minutes, and the only thing left is something I've wanted to see for a long time, penalty kicks.
Yeah, I mean, Reagan has really stepped up for Trinity, played the game of his life, and his team's been giving him support. Also, the goalkeeper has just played fantastic. And then for us, we've put in the opportunities we need to and played well. Same with Trinity. I mean, you really couldn't ask for a better game. It's just been really back and forth.
The last time the Eagles were in penalty kicks, it was against Trinity Baptist, 2017, regional tournament. You guys won that round 5-3. Taylor Jensen coming up with 2 big saves in that one to propel you guys to the national tournament. You go in as the 3 seed. You beat Kentucky Christian. You beat Providence. And then you play Trinity, I believe Trinity Baptist again in that final. Beat them again for the national championship. Travis, did you take a penalty kick in that game?
No.
No, you're not the penalty kick type.
No, I took one in high school, but I've never taken one for our college. We had so many good guys.
So take me into the mindset of a player when they're shooting penalty kicks. A lot on the line. I sat out here a couple weeks ago, and the Eagles, like you mentioned, like to do this drill at the end of practice where they take penalty kicks, and these guys don't miss. But as a player, it's one thing to not miss in practice. It's another thing to not miss when the pressure of your season being on the line is at risk.
Yeah, for me, when I would practice a PK, I'd go to the same spot every time. I knew where I was going. The only guy I've met that really doesn't do that is Paul Stewart when he would take them. But we just see you put it in the same spot, so when you step into a high-pressure situation like this, it feels the same. It feels like practice. All you got to do is put it in the same spot. It's going to find the back of the net. There's just so much riding on each and every kick.
Both teams going to stand at the center of the field. You'll have the goalies switch in and out. If you're the Eagles, who are your 5 that you're potentially looking at putting out there?
I mean, from what we've seen, Zach's probably going in. If the anger is still there, Hoffa's probably going in. Bohalski and Hayden are for sure probably going to be in there. And then for the 5th one, it might be Lucas. It might be Clint. It's like you said, it's almost the guilt of wealth. We have so many people to pick.
And I think for Trinity Baptist, you've got to look at a guy like Declan Owen, who's got 6 goals. You've got to look at a Nasir Guanipa, who's got 6 goals. You've got to look at the dead ringer tonight, Paris Reagan. But then after that, you've got to start to make some decisions. You expect those guys to score. but then you've got to have kickers 4 and 5 potentially. Nothing guaranteed in penalty kicks. So this is going to be a lot of fun. You know, I don't think we both thought when we started this game, I rushed over here to start this game, that this is how the night would end. But what a way for this night to end.
And always remember the battle of keepers. Those guys are going to be fighting each other silently, but it's going to be a battle.
As a keeper, what are you trying to do? How do you just pick a side and you just go to it?
There are different ticks in the body that you can tell. Their plant foot where they go, their hips where they're angled. But as a keeper, you really are just trying to do your best to really support your team, get a hand on the ball.
We're going to bring it back to the field now as both teams get ready. I haven't seen which side of the field we're going to use, and it might not have been decided yet. The captains are in the center, Williams and Peterson. You see that right in front of us. Those two, the coin flip going to happen. The coin has flipped. It flips again. Peterson gets to make the call. We're going to go towards the Griffith side of the field. The east side of this soccer field. Travis, I'm shaking a little bit up here, and it's not just the booth.
It is just so
This is
nerve-wracking.
wild.
There's been so much tension tonight, so much energy, and there's always emotions. Our first time hosting regionals. I mean, you see our team all lined up on the side in front of the bench, arm over arm. There's just a brotherhood out there for both teams that they don't want to let each other down.
One thing that we haven't mentioned in this one, Adam Lund has been your starting keeper for the last 2 years, 27 consecutive games. He goes down with a broken pinky finger against Florida College. That inserts David Cuevas. A big moment for the sophomore.
Yeah, he's ready to go for sure. He's put in his time, he's put in his effort, and he's earned the respect of the team with the play that he's had. He's played well tonight, and I think it's just going to be a really great way for them to end this game.
Travis, talk me through the rules of penalty kicks a little bit.
They each get 5 kickers off the bat, and those 5 are just going to go head-to-head. And if there comes a point where some team has more goals than the other team can make up, then it's over. If the 5 players start, you go into 1v1 battles. The 6th person, if they both make it, goes to 7. If one makes and one misses, it's over. And then just a couple of interesting rules. The keeper must be on his line right up until the ball is contacted, and the ball is put 12 yards out in front of the goal. And I mean, it's just there's a mind game that goes on with the kicker and the keeper. There's a lot of things that go into PKs. You see them both teams lined up at half field.
Trinity Baptist, the 3 seed to kick first. Nathan Williams, his senior year. He had senior night just the other night for Trinity Baptist. Perhaps one of the biggest moments of his career right here as he takes the first penalty kick here in the NCCAA South region. Cuevas on his line. Williams aims, fires, and hits it into the bottom right-hand corner of the net. 1-0 Trinity Baptist.
It looks like Anthony has probably stepped up this season. I haven't been at practices to see the PK battles at the end of practices, but Anthony must be showing Coach something that he really loves to get this opportunity in his first season on the team.
It's so hard not to overstate that every shot right now matters. The season is on the line on every one of these shots. 1-0 in favor of Trinity Baptist here in penalty kicks. Nieves on his line. And Nieves pulls a rabbit out of his hat and stuffs Anthony Ruiz.
You see right there, Ruiz picked his spot. That's probably where he goes all the time. And, he put it fantastic. Would have hit side netting, hard power, and Nieves just got it right.
Nieves guessing right, and that puts all the pressure in the world on a guy like David Cuevas now. He either has to stop it or hope for a Trinity Baptist mistake. Cuevas on his line. Guanipa, he's scored 7 goals this year. He comes up. Trinity Baptist went right the first time. Let's see what he does. And Cuevas with a save, the fist bump by the sophomore. And Travis, we thought something had just happened there, but we're back tied again.
Yeah, right there. That on PKs, you really want to be worried about putting it up in the air. The keeper's hands are up, and that's what he's best used to save. And so right there, that shot was high right at Cuevas' head, and he got his hands up in there to make that save. What a great effort.
Cuevas, the second-team keeper all of last season, being thrust into that first-team role when Adam Lund went down. Nieves, the NCCAA leader in saves. Boholski now stepping up for penalty kick number 2. He's a lefty. Can Nieves stop another one? Boholski comes forward, and Nieves, a second block for the junior, excuse me, Trey Nieves.
Right there, that effort was good from Riley, trying to confuse him with some of the body movement, body language, but just didn't hit it too hard or to the side where a spot, and Nieves did a great job. Right when the ball's contact, he jumps off his line to cut down the angles and makes a great save.
And it'll bring up the freshman midfielder, Eddie Young. He wears, check that, number 20, Evan Hasbrook. Cuevas on his line. Hasbrook sends one forward, and he makes it 2-0. Trinity Baptist. One of the biggest shots of the season upcoming. And head coach Joe Lewas sending his senior captain Hayden Hoffman to the spot. Hoffman needs to bury this one.
A lot of pressure being put on Cuevas. This shot is a big shot. We need to make this one for sure. A lot of pressure on everybody in the moment. Tensions are rising.
Hoffman thought he had the game winner in the first overtime period. Needs to get one here. And he nets one. The senior Hayden Hoffman from Cleveland, Ohio. Ice water was running through his veins on that one, and it's back to 2-1.
If we don't get another block from Cuevas in any of these last two shots, Trinity will win even if both teams make all of their PKs. He's got to step up in a big way here as our backup keeper to Adam.
The fourth kicker for Trinity Baptist, their dead ringer, Paris Reagan. He's already got 2 in this game. He had 2 off the crossbar. He's looking to give his team a commanding 3-1 lead here in penalty kicks. Can Cuevas find another save? Reagan stepping forward, sending it, and burying it down the center. And that puts all the pressure in the world on Zachary Kluver.
If Kluver misses this, Trinity wins. We cannot catch up if we don't keep burying our PKs here.
3-1, but even if Kluver is able to hit this one, it's still a lot of pressure on Cuevas and the last kicker for Trinity Baptist.
We'll see what happens here with Zach.
2-2, we're in penalty kicks. A spot in the NCCAA South Region Championship on the line. A miss here would send Trinity Baptist in. A make would keep this one alive. Kluver goes way back. Gets Nieves to dive, and Kluver nets it to make it 3-2. But Travis, it all comes down to this. And the sophomore, Nick Lockridge, stepping up.
Again, this is a must-save for Cuevas with us missing our first 2 PKs. He's got to get his hands on this. He's got to make his best effort. Again, you can't really fault the keeper in these opportunities. I mean, he's not supposed to save these. That's why it's set up this way. And so we're going to see his best effort, and hopefully he can step up huge for his team.
Even with a save, the Eagles would still have to score a third one next. Cuevas on Lockridge to send him to the South Region Final. Cuevas stuffs him! Daniel Cuevas, the sophomore, playing in the biggest game of his career, just stuffed Nick Lockridge on the 5th, the game-winning potential penalty kick. But even with all of that, Clint Peterson still has to make this to force a 6th do-or-die penalty kick.
You can't ask for a bigger mode right there from Cuevas to step up like that. I mean, you can't expect that from him. That's too much pressure, and he stepped up to it anyway, made the save, and now Clint's got his opportunity. Clint loves these moments like this.
My heart is pounding out of my chest right now. Peterson over the ball, sending it on frame, and Nieves ending it. Trey Nieves, the NCCAA leader in saves, blocks 3 in the penalty kick round to catapult Trinity Baptist into the NCCAA South Region Final.
Makes 3 saves on PKs. That's just unprecedented. That's incredible. What an effort from him. And the Eagles, I mean, it's going to be hard to bounce back from something like that for even future seasons, but you love to see the effort that both teams put in. Couldn't have asked for a more fairy tale ending.
This is a tough one to swallow if you're the Eagles. We're going to go live right over here. The Eagles lose this one 2-2. They lose it in penalty kicks, though, Travis. I believe if my official count is right, 4-3, 4-2, or 3-2, sorry, 3-2 in penalty kicks. They lose this one, and that has to sting if you're the Eagles.
Yeah, it's hard ending your season on something like that, especially when you have seniors getting blocked and seniors missing. I mean, it hurts really bad, but it's a growing experience for the younger guys. It's something to learn from, but it just hurts for those guys that know they can't come back.
We say win or go home, Travis. The Eagles, though, ranked 4th in the power rankings. But without getting to that regional final, it's going to be tough to get an at-large bid. Still a chance, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's going to be hard to deny a Trinity Baptist team that just beat the number 4 seeded Eagles. And it's tough for this Eagles team because they really felt like everything was starting to come together at the end of the season.
Yeah, they really would have liked to cement the opportunity themselves, not rely on any type of bid or anything. But, I mean, that's just how the ball rolled tonight. I mean, guys standing on their heads from Trinity to make this game end the way it did. I mean, you can't be mad at the way it ended with how much effort was put in, but it's just going to sting.
Travis, I didn't expect when I asked you last week to do this game that we'd have 110 minutes, that we'd have penalty kicks. So let me say thank you first and foremost for being out here. It was the insight that you were able to bring. I'm sure the viewers loved it. A great game between two great teams. But ultimately, we've got another one. I'm going to do it with Jake McClellan this next one. But for all you viewers out there, we want to thank you for tuning in. It's been a great season. If you're an Eagles fan, it's been a privilege doing most of your games. Travis doing some of them with me. If you're Trinity Baptist, though, a great ending for you in this contest, and you cement yourself a shot at a South Region title. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight, and until next time, we say goodbye.